Chapter 541. I'm the boss here. Why do I have to do this kind of work? This is so hard. If this keeps up, my elegant golden fur that I've taken care of so diligently will be completely ruined. Louis Gorgon, the second prince of the Gorgon kingdom, who had now become a temporary employee of Sejun Company, was struggling to walk while carrying a cherry tomato in each hand. At that moment, why are there so many creatures here with such lowly colors here? Louis wrinkled his face in disgust upon spotting a puppy with black fur. In the Black Tower, the darker the fur color, the more preferential treatment one received. However, that wasn't the case in Hamk. In Hamk, golden fur signified royalty or nobility, yellow, blue, and green fur denoted the aristocracy, brown fur represented commoners, and black fur was the color of the lowest class. Additionally, there was an old legend passed down in Hamk about a pure white hamster who would one day appear to save the world. But for thousands of years, no such pure white hamster had ever been seen. Of course, this obsession with fur color was mainly a concern for the royals and nobles. So Louis, a royal who loved distinguishing by color, felt even more displeased, wronged, and angry about being beaten by black bears with the color of the lowest class. I've found you at the right time. Louis decided to vent his frustration from his earlier humiliation on this black-furred puppy, yelling and intimidating it. Kaying. The black puppy barked feebly as if angry and made a pathetic attempt at a headbutt. How dare this lowly creature? Since it was such a trivial attack, Louis decided to let it hit him once and then retaliate. However, boom! Where am I? The moment he collided with the puppy, the world suddenly changed and thud. How dare an insignificant thing like you tell the great Blackie to move aside? His opponent had changed too, into something huge and terrifying. Was it you, the one who dared to be rude to great Blackie-nim, the noble wolf who hunts demon kings? Great Blackie-nim, I'll seal this fool with thorny spiderweb so he'll suffer eternal torment. Then 7 subordinates of Blackie also revealed their massive forms, glaring murderously at Louis. Please spare me. This lowly one failed to recognize the great Blackie-nim. Louis immediately dropped to the ground, bowing as flatly as possible and begging for forgiveness. Under the overwhelming pressure and terror, all he could do was beg. Fine, I'll forgive you this time. Great Blackie is merciful after all. I'm so cool. Feeling his anger from being tricked by Sejun dissipate, Blackie said, "Let's go." Yes. Thud. With that, Blackie and his subordinates left Louis's mental world. While Blackie was giving Louis mental education. Chairman Park, Vice Chairman Theo, boss, welcome. The black bears of the Kyung gang bowed at a 90-degree angle to Sejun, Theo, and Kyungi. Kyui. The hamsters trailing behind the black bears cautiously bowed to Sejun as well. So what's with these hamsters? Sejun asked while looking around at Louis, who was sleeping, with Blackie and the other hamsters. These employees are. One of the black bears began explaining how the hamsters had become part of the company. Oh, I see. So they've signed 5-year contracts as employees. Yes, that's correct. Good work. Sejun was pleased after hearing the explanation. Bringing the local hamsters along when heading to Hamk would undoubtedly be helpful in various ways. I'll take these guys with me. Yes, of course. And so, the affiliation of 10,000 hamsters changed to directly under the chairman. All right then, everyone, let's head out. Kalche, go on ahead and wait for us. Chewy. Understood. Since the hamsters and Sejun used different pathways, Sejun agreed to meet Kalche at the capital of the Thunem Empire and moved to the northern exclusive passage. Then, clink. Sejun placed his hand on the black hole-like opening in the floor. Currently, there are 2 available destinations. Please choose your destination. Earth LV 1. Hamk LV 7. A message appeared. Hamk. Currently, 12 individuals are attempting to use the exclusive passage. Would you like to pay the stay fees for all 12 and proceed to Hamk? Yes. When Sejun responded, the system began calculating the stay fees. Calculating the stay fee based on the stats and rank of Park Theo. The stay fee is 150 million tower coins per hour. Calculating the stay fee based on the stats and rank of Park Kyungi. The stay fee is 100 million tower coins per hour. Calculating the stay fee based on the stats and rank of Park Peacebees. The stay fee is 10 million tower coins per hour. Oh, it's definitely cheaper. When traveling to Earth, just the stay fees for the three of them had exceeded 1 trillion tower coins, but now it was only 260 million tower coins. It had become incredibly affordable. Calculating the stay fee based on the stats and rank of Park Sejun. Next up was Sejun's turn. Hehe, how much will mine be? Sejun eagerly checked the message. The stay fee is 500,000 tower coins per hour. Power, sturdy young dragon solid bone, have been confirmed. An additional 1 million tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Power, divine blood passing through the heart of dark, the god of darkness, has been confirmed. An additional 900,000 tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Power Sunfish Core has been confirmed. An additional 2 million tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. With all the powers combined, the total was 4.4 million tower coins per hour. Am I really this cheap? Sejun had been pleased when his companion's stay fees had gone down, but now that his own cost was so low, he felt offended. But when traveling to Earth, the additional cost for the power, sturdy young dragon's solid bone, had been 1 trillion tower coins. Now it was only 1 million, a difference of 6 zeros. And the level difference between Earth and Hamk was 6. So does this mean that for every level difference between worlds, the stay fee decreases by a factor of 10? While Sejun was figuring out the principle behind the stay fees, calculating the stay fee based on the stats and rank of Park Blackie, it was finally time for Blackie family. Kaying. Guys hide. Yes. K. Kuruk. Shaslung. At Blackie's command, his subordinates completely hid themselves within Blackie's fur. Then, Bloodline Noble Wolf have been confirmed. An additional 1 billion tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Power Noble Wolf Spirit have been confirmed. An additional 500 million tower coins are added to the stay fee per hour. Thankfully, Blackie's subordinates managed to ride for free, but Blackie alone racked up a stay fee of 120 billion tower coins per hour. Hey, Butler, now you know who the real super sunfish is, right? As Blackie looked at Sejun with a triumphant expression, feeling proud. Just at you, a super sunfish with good lineage that only ends up costing me a fortune. Blackie, you better realize how lucky you are to have met me. Sejun also looked at Blackie with a smug expression. A moment later. With your current funds, you can stay for more than 10 days. Moving to Hamk. Sejun and his party headed to Hamk. Hamk, the sudden disappearance of hamsters, had thrown various nations into chaos. This was because the children of royal and noble families had vanished without warning. On top of that, ordinary citizens were also going missing, causing public sentiment to become greatly unsettled. The sudden appearance of black towers, the mass disappearances, and even the swarms of locusts devouring crops, everything seemed like a bad omen. The kings of various nations held meetings to devise countermeasures for finding the missing people. Ever since that black tower appeared, disappearances have been occurring all over. It seems highly likely that the tower is connected to the disappearances. We must send an investigative team. The meetings were mostly reaching the conclusion that the towers needed to be investigated. Thus, as the nations began forming teams to investigate the black towers that had appeared in their capitals. Kyuyui. Huh. the missing hamsters began emerging from the black towers. You have arrived in Hamk. Where is this? Sejun looked around. A mountain. As he observed the thick clouds beneath him and the sharp peaks that seemed to pierce the sky. A quest has been triggered. Quest: defeat the destruction invading Hamk. If the current state continues, Hamk will be destroyed in 20 years. Reward: peace in Hamk. A quest has been triggered. Quest: Ave Hamk's hero Bache. If Bache dies, the speed of Hamk's destruction will be accelerated by 10 years. Reward: inherit one of the skills of Hamk's hero Bache. 2 quest messages appeared in rapid succession. Hamk's hero Bache. Sejun didn't know who Bache was, but he seemed like a very important hamster. The fact that Hamk's destruction would accelerate twice as fast just from Bache's death made that clear. But how am I supposed to save him if I do know where he is? System, is this how you're going to do things? As Sejun cursed the system for not providing proper information. Bang boom. A loud explosion was heard from below the clouds. That sounds like a fight. Kyungi, let's head over there. When Sejun pointed toward the source of the sound while holding Kyungi. Kyungi quickly used telekinesis to descend through the clouds. And then, Keikayuk. They found a black hamster fighting 2 giant ogres with a sword that looked as thin as a toothpick. Hamk's hero, Grand Swordmaster Bache. It was Bache, the one Sejun had been looking for. Keikayuk. Bache was fighting valiantly, but Kyu-woo. Boom. It was too much to handle against 2 ogres. Kyug. Bache was gradually being pushed back by the ogres' relentless attacks. Guys, attack the ogres. Got it, meow. Kyung. At Sejun's command, Theo and Kyungi swiftly charged toward the ogres. Pug. One ogre was knocked out cold by Theo's front paw striking the back of its head. Bang. Crackle. The other ogre was struck on the head by Kyungi's thunderbolt staff, its body trembling before collapsing unconscious. And just like that, the battle was over in an instant. I'll take you to your king, come over here. Sejun placed his hand on the ogres' bodies, collecting battle aura to transport them. All done, finish them off. Pushuhut, got it, meow meow. Kyung. Pug. Bang. At Sejun's instruction, Theo and Kyungi finished off the ogres. You have leveled up. You have gained 1 bonus stat point. Strength has increased by 30. Strength potential has increased by 1%. A quest has been triggered. Sejun leveled up, reaching level 134. You have saved Hamk's hero Bache. You have completed the quest. As a reward for completing the quest, you may inherit 1 skill from Hamk's hero Bache. Simultaneously, a quest completion message appeared. Keikayuk. Thank you for helping me. Having recovered somewhat, Bache approached Theo and Kyungi, offering a bow of thanks with clasped paws. Then, Keikayuk. The Great Will has commanded me to pass one of my skills to you. Even though I find your talent quite lacking, one cannot go against the Great Will. Bow to me at once. Bache, now addressing Sejun in an arrogant tone, demanded that he bow in order to receive the skill. I'm the boss here. Annoyed by Bache's dismissive attitude, Sejun made a sullen expression. Meow, how dare you try to make the great hybrid Chairman Park bow to you, meow. Kyung. Are you looking down on my dad because you think he's weak? Kyungi is angry now. Kaying. How dare you try to make my butler bow to you? Do you want to get headbutted by the great Blackie and cry? The atmosphere quickly turned tense. Keikayuk. No, I didn't mean you have to bow, please. Just let me pass my skill to you. Bache, the hero of Hamk and a grand swordmaster, hurriedly changed his tone and began deliberating on which skill to pass to Sejun. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Wizard Tower Chairman's room in Black Parkai, Wizard Tower. Crrreek. Kaiwat. My training is finally over. Now I must go see Theonim. As space split apart, Leona, having completed her closed-door training, appeared with a beaming smile. Kaiwat, 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 search. Leona began searching for Theo, but Kaiwat. She couldn't sense Theo's energy. Kaiwo, 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 Theonim is gone. Kuwu. An ominous aura began emanating from Leona, radiating a powerful energy incomparably stronger than before. It's the third stage of Kaiwo. While the wizards of the Black Parkai, Wizard Tower trembled in fear. Kaiwat, is that so? Thankfully, Aileen informed Iona of Theo's whereabouts, instantly dispelling the third stage of Kaiwo. Chapter 542, with teamwork. Hamk. Kayuk. Then I will impart a skill. Bache climbed onto Sejun's head and Chug placed his paw on Sejun's head, beginning the skill transfer. The one-time-only skill transfer permitted by the Great Will. Bache intended to choose the strongest skill as desired by the Great Will and transfer it. However, Hamk's hero Bache attempts to impart the skill, Invincible Bache Swordsmanship. This skill contains racial traits and can only be learned by hamsters. Skill transfer failed. Kayuk. The transfer failed because of an incompatible race. Hamk's hero Bache attempts to impart the skill, Unity of God and Sword. This swordsmanship contains too high enlightenment. Target cannot comprehend it. Skill transfer failed. Kayuk. The transfer failed because the enlightenment level was too high. Hank's hero Bache attempts to impart the skill, Advanced Aura Swordsmanship. Target has no aura. Skill transfer failed. The transfer failed due to the absence of aura. Kayuk. What should I impart? There was no strong skill that could be transferred. This was only natural. Sejun was a sunfish, and the skills of a grand swordmaster weren't easy to impart. Yet Bache's pride as a grand swordmaster wouldn't allow him to transfer low-level swordsmanship skill. And so, Kayuk. Sejun Nim from now on will spar. He decided to build Sejun's foundation so he could receive his skills. Sparring. Kayuk. Yes, I will transfer the skill through sparring. Draw your sword. Bache phrased it as skill transfer through sparring, knowing that if he called it basic training, Sejun might refuse. Though there was a slight lie mixed in, it wasn't entirely false. After all, skill transfer would only be possible after building up ability through sparring. Is this how skills are transferred? Sejun, disappointed as he had expected to gain the skill effortlessly, sighed. All right. Sweating. Nonetheless, he drew his sword. He couldn't waste the reward he had been given. And that was pretty sick. Even to Sejun, who knew little about swordsmanship, Bache's sword techniques, which had been used against ogres, looked undeniably cool. Chug. For the sparring session, Bache also picked up a fallen leaf from the ground. With that, you're going to fight with that. Kayuk. Yes, whatever I hold becomes a sword. An extremely arrogant statement. However, Bache, the Grand Swordmaster, had more than earned the right to make such a claim. Kayuk. Come at me. Okay, here I come. Having seen Bache's combat with an ogre, Sejun approached cautiously and swung his sword with all his might. And clang! Bache effortlessly blocked Sejun's sword, using a leaf strengthened with aura to be harder than steel. Kayuk. Continue. Got it. Clang clang. Under Bache's guidance, Sejun continued to swing his sword. Kayuk. If you swing so widely, how will you defend yourself? Kayuk. The sword should be swung fast like a typhoon, but your legs should be heavy as a mountain. With Bache's precise and pointed corrections, your proficiency of intermediate swordsmanship LV 7 has been filled, and the level has increased. Strength has increased by 3. Stamina has increased by 2. Sejun's swordsmanship skill level and stats rose rapidly. Master Bo. From then on, Sejun regarded Bachai as his master, and while heading to the capital of the Thunem Empire, continued training under him. 3 days into traveling, while receiving training from Master Bo. What? Master Bo was originally a slave. Sejun heard the shocking tale of Bachai's past. Keikayok, 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 Keikayok. Yes, it was already 300 years ago. Back then, straighten your back. As Sejun, carrying a massive boulder, trudged along, Bachai corrected his posture. Even while traveling, Sejun continued to receive training from Bachai. Thanks to this, his total stats increased by about 500, and his swordsmanship skill advanced to mastering intermediate swordsmanship and reaching level 3 in advanced swordsmanship. Additionally, thanks to Bachai, he learned that once advanced swordsmanship was mastered, the next step would be magic swordsmanship, the stage where one could imbue magic into their sword. To progress in magic swordsmanship from beginner to advanced, one must master it entirely again to qualify for beginner aura swordsmanship. In other words, the advanced aura swordsmanship that Bachai tried to transfer was at a level that required prolonged and intense dedication to attain. But Master Bo, did you just say it was 300 years ago? Keikayok, Keikayok. Yes, my life as a slave was so difficult that I ran away. Afterward, I met an old man in Mount Bara, the place where I met Sejun Nim, and learned swordsmanship from him. I've been training in the sword ever since, and before I realized it, 300 years had passed. What, Master Bo, you're really old. Sejun was shocked at Bachai's age, which didn't match his cute appearance. However, Sejun didn't start treating him differently just because he was older. Doing so would threaten Sejun's position in the group. In terms of age hierarchy within the Sejun family, Sejun was one of the youngest, after Kyungi and Peacebees. Even Theo had lived for over 100 years, and the Blackie family were beings who had lived for at least 10,000 years. Keikayuk. Focus, your stride just faltered. Yes. And so, under Bachai's guidance, Sejun continued heading toward the capital of the Thunem Empire with his companions. Along the way, other hamster employees heading to the Thunem Empire joined them, causing Sejun's group to grow larger. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Ace Kamid. Eek. Mom, you said you weren't cooking anymore. At Elizabeth's call for him to eat, Ace quickly waddled away in an attempt to escape. But, haha, oh my dear Ace, here you are. Come, let's eat. You need to eat well to grow quickly. There was no way for Ace, who wasn't even a week old, to escape from Elizabeth. Did Mom cook this? No, I told you Mom don't cook anymore. Your sister did. Really? I want to eat right away. Unlike his mom, Ace had high hopes for his sister's cooking. He even had some justification for it. Since Sejun and Aileen were dating, and lovers tend to resemble each other, he assumed Aileen's cooking skills must be similar to Sejun's. When Ace took Elizabeth's hand and headed to the kitchen, they found 2 black dragon statues sitting side by side in front of a plate piled high with dumplings. Kuhaha, my grandson is here. Come, have a seat. These were the black dragon statues controlled by Kaiser and Anton. Anton, too, had sent a black dragon statue resembling himself to the 99th floor of the tower to see his wife and child. Now let's eat. As they were about to eat, Kaiser spoke in a somewhat lethargic voice. Yes. Only Ace answered energetically and picked up one of the dumplings that Aileen had made after taking cooking lessons from Sejun's mother, Kim Miran. Aileen was still diligently taking cooking lessons from Kim Miran these days. And then, Ace was stunned after taking a bite of Aileen's cooking. Why does it taste like Mom's cooking when sister made it? This is Traz. As tears welled up in Ace's eyes, ready to burst into a wail over the terrible taste. Kaiser cleared his throat and, Pop, quickly put a honey jelly in Ace's mouth. Puaheri sweet. Ace smiled at the sweetness of the honey jelly. Anton, let's eat. Yes. In the meantime, Kaiser and Anton hurriedly devoured the rest of the food to spare everyone further suffering. Once the food was gone, the tower's administrator asked if her cooking was delicious. It was Aileen, asking for feedback on her cooking. Since Sejun wasn't around, she had called her family together to taste test her food. Kahaha, when did my granddaughter's cooking skills improve so much? It was delicious, wasn't it, Anton? Unable to tell his granddaughter her cooking was awful, Kaiser praised the food and quickly sought Anton's agreement. Yes, it was delicious. Anton struggled to get the words out, but managed to say it was tasty. The tower's administrator says she knew you'd like it and made plenty more. The tower's administrator tells you not to eat it all yourselves this time, but to save some for Mom and Ace. Bang! A massive plate piled high with dumplings appeared again in front of them. Sejun, hurry and come back. Son-in-law, please return soon. Son-in-law Park, come back quickly. Brother-in-law, please come quickly. I'll listen well to brother-in-law from now on. Aileen's family members who had to eat Aileen's cooking instead of Sejun desperately waited for Sejun's return. Outskirts of destruction. Jormungandr Nim, 2 of the ogres we sent to Hamk have been defeated. Was there someone in that world capable of dealing with ogres? If they continued to lose ogres like this, destruction would surely grow furious. Hearing Kraken's report, Jormungandr fell into deep thought. Unlike other calamities, ogres and planet-destroying turtles were beings that could not be created using the power of destruction. Once lost, they were gone forever. Thus, any reduction in the number of ogres or planet-destroying turtles inevitably led to reprimands. Of the 10 ogres granted by destruction, 5 had already been lost in Risea. Losing any more ogres would be dangerous. Kraken, I need you to go again. Understood. Fortunately, this place has a high level, so it's not burdensome. Then I'm counting on you. Once Hydra and Leviathan finish molting, I'll allow you some rest. Yes, then I'll be going. Kraken began preparing to descend upon Hamk. Hamk, Kyui. In just 3 more days, we'll reach the capital of the Thunem Empire. Liui, the second prince of the Gorgon kingdom who had joined the group yesterday, spoke to Sejun. Until now, Sejun had been relying on directions from others to head toward the capital of the Thunem Empire, but thanks to Liui's guidance, he no longer had to wander aimlessly. At that moment, Keikayuk, your pace has slowed. Bachai's voice rang out. Yes. Sejun was still carrying a massive boulder as part of his training under Bachai's guidance while traveling. After traveling 1 more day like that, Crag. Suddenly, cracks began to form in the sky. Powerful energy of destruction has been detected. A message appeared before Sejun. Even without the message, it was impossible not to notice the immense power emanating from the cracked space and the red mist that dyed the sky. Boom! Everyone take these. Sensing that something was seriously wrong, Sejun set the boulder down and quickly handed out bean sets to his companions, preparing for battle. Master Bo, please take this too. Sejun gave a bean set to Bach as well. And the rest of you take cover. Kyui. He evacuated the hamsters to safety. Clink. At that moment, the space shattered like glass, and through the cracks emerged 2 massive legs covered with countless suction cups. Wriggle. The 2 legs, forcing their way through the broken space, began to widen the gap further. Crack. The space gradually widened. And then, an octopus. A giant octopus head appeared beyond the torn space. Kaying. It's Kraken. Blackie's cry echoed. Mumu. Welcome, Kraken. Mubelchill, who had been hiding in Blackie's fur, poked his head out and looked at Kraken with eyes full of hope. He longed for another terrible name to take his place. At that moment, Kraken, the sea-devouring monster and 6th seed of the Apostle of Destruction, has descended upon Hamk. A quest has been issued. Quest, expel Kraken, the sea-devouring monster and sixth seed of the Apostle of Destruction, from Hamk. Reward, postponement of Hamk's destruction. Failure, Hamk's destruction. A quest appeared before Sejun. No way, I'm going to capture it. Defeating the creature and exorcising it to prevent further wrongdoing seemed like the better choice. Everyone, let's catch it. Of course, Sejun wouldn't be doing it himself. He with teamwork. Pew hut, great hybrid Chairman Park, lend me your power this time, meow. Theo stepped forward, envious of how Kyungi had shown while defeating Melpheus, the demon of ruin and former apostles of destruction. All right, everyone stick to Vice Chairman Theo. When Sejun and the group touched Theo's body, the 11 divided powers combine into one, activating power, strength to support 13 handfuls of sky for 13 seconds. Strength increases by 1300%. The power activated. On top of that, whoosh, Theo burned money to further enhance his abilities. With his enhanced power, here I go, meow. Using the skill light speed meow step that came with the golden boots of the one who believes in miracles, Theo dashed toward Kraken at the speed of light. But, swish, meow. Theo was effortlessly caught by one of Kraken's legs. There was something everyone had overlooked. The reason Kyungi had been able to knock out Melpheus was because of the power of the Beast of Apocalypse. Their current strength was still insufficient to overpower an Apostle of Destruction. Meow, I can't get out, meow. I'm being sucked in, meow. The numerous suction cups on Kraken's legs created a strong vacuum, preventing Theo from escaping. I need to ask Chairman Park for help, meow. Just as Theo was about to enter his fanatic mode. Crack. Once again the sky cracked in. Shatter. Space shattered. And then, Kaiwo, let go of my Theonym right now. He's my cat. The great destructive wizard Iona descended upon Hamk. Black holes and white holes combine into nothingness, annihilation. She unleashed a new spell she had learned and perfected during her closed-door training. Chapter 543, What? Sejun Nim is not single. Iona's magic literally erased a spherical space with a diameter of 1 kilometer. The tip of the Kraken's tentacle, which had been gripping Theo, vanished without any sound or warning. Meow. Thanks to that, Theo easily escaped from the suction cups of the Kraken's tentacle that had weakened after being separated from its main body. Pew hut, Iona, thank you and I've missed you, meow. Expressing his gratitude to Iona. Pew hut, this time I'll teach you a proper lesson, meow. Iona, wait just a bit, meow. Kaiwat, got it. Theo started charging toward the Kraken again. Though Iona's magic was powerful, it couldn't inflict significant damage on the Kraken, whose size rivaled an entire world. It merely managed to sever the tip of one of its tentacles. This was only possible because the tentacle's end was thin. Had the magic struck even slightly higher, severing the entire tentacle would have been impossible. However, how dare you cut the tentacle of me, Kraken, the sea-devouring monster and sixth seed of the Apostle of Destruction. Die. Even that seemed to have hurt its pride, and the Kraken grew enraged. Crunch. The Kraken squeezed its remaining 6 tentacles into the small space and attacked Theo, who was charging toward it. Meow. I won't let my guard down this time, meow. Theo moved swiftly to dodge the attacks, but the Kraken's tentacles were colossal. Dodging every attack while closing the distance to the Kraken was difficult, and Theo struggled to make progress. Kaiwat. Theonym, I'll cover you. Connect a black hole and a white hole to create a pathway, wormhole. Seeing Theo in trouble, Iona cast another spell. Squirm. A black hole appeared in front of the Kraken's tentacle. Swoosh. The Kraken's tentacle disappeared into the black hole. Bang. It re-emerged through the white hole Iona had created, colliding with another tentacle that was trying to grab Theo. Pew hut, Iona, thank you, meow. Kaiwat. Theo Nim, just leave it to me. With Iona's support, Theo finally reached the Kraken, which had just begun pushing its head into Hamk. Great Hybrid Chairman Park, please help me, meow. He started praying to Sejun for assistance. And then, Wulong, the right hand of Giant Chairman Park, manifested over Theo's right front paw. Theo had channeled the enormous hand of Giant Chairman Park into his front paw. Pew hut, as expected of the great Chairman Park, meow. Now the Giant Chairman Park is with me, Vice Chairman Theo, meow. Today again, the fanatic pulled off something utterly nonsensical. Pew hut, Giant Chairman Park's right-hand punch, meow. Theo swung his right front paw and struck the back of the Kraken's head. Bang! Kuwaka. The impact forcibly pushed the Kraken's head further toward Hamk. I can't get my body out like this. The Kraken's body became stuck between spaces. Moreover, Kaiwat, I've tied them all up. At some point, Iona had tangled the Kraken's 8 tentacles together. Ika. The Kraken was now completely immobilized. Everyone, let's go. Finally, Sejun stepped in. Kyung. With Kyungi's telekinesis, Sejun ascended into the sky. Step. Landing on one of the Kraken's tentacles. Kyung. Kyungi will help big bro. Pip, I'm coming too. Kyungi and Peacebees flew toward the Kraken's head to assist Theo. Meow. Giant Chairman Park's right-hand punch. Kyung lightning strike. Pip. Peace spin. Kaiwat. Black holes and white holes combine into nothingness, annihilation. While Theo, Kyungi, Peacebees, and Iona launched a relentless assault on the Kraken's head. Blackie, I'll leave the exorcism to you. Killahit Kaying. He Butler, trust in the great Blackie. Blackie family, move out. Thunk. The Blackie family, secured from falling off the Kraken's tentacle by Jigomi's spider web, began the exorcism and clink. Guys, devour it. Now it's our turn to teach it a lesson. Kiki. Sejun opened the void storage and allowed the destruction devourers to consume the Kraken's energy of destruction. And then, plunk. Your field LV-9 has been activated. A seed of magical cherry tomato has been planted in the body of Kraken, the seed-devouring monster and 6th seat of the Apostle of Destruction. He planted all sorts of crop seeds from his pocket at random, wherever he could reach. Squirm. The Kraken's tentacles thrashed violently, trying to shake off the attackers. Hub. However, the destruction devourers were only sticking their mouths out of the void storage, so they were unaffected. Haha, it's no use. Thanks to the Ura field skill effect, which gave adhesive properties on his feet when planting crops, Sejun could hang upside down from the Kraken's tentacles without falling. Kayuk. Invincible Bocce Swordsmanship, Chapter 1, Ferocious Beast Hamster's Bite. Bang. Bocce, too, diligently attacked the Kraken's tentacles, doing his best to be of help to the group. Crunch. Meanwhile, the crops rapidly grew by absorbing the Kraken's life force and began bearing fruit. Plop. The Kraken's vigorous movements caused the fruits to be automatically harvested, falling to the ground below. Crops raining down from the sky. Kyui. What is this? Kyui. It's food, isn't it? The hamsters hiding on the ground picked up the cherry tomatoes, corn, sweet potatoes, and potatoes that fell before them. Crunch. Munch. They naturally put the food into their mouths as they watched the epic battle unfolding in the sky. Inside the mental realm of the Kraken's 8th tentacle. Kraken, the great Blackie, has arrived. A giant wolf appeared and shouted. Squirm. One of the giant octopus tentacles waved a white flag signaling surrender. What's this, where Kraken? Blackie asked the tentacle waving the white flag. Squirm. Our minds are divided between the head and 8 tentacles. Please spare Yoda. The tentacle hurriedly replied. What? the consciousness is divided into 9 parts. To be precise, the consciousness in the head controlled the critical functions, while the smaller matters were left to the tentacles' consciousnesses to handle independently, a system they hadn't known about because they'd never fought a kraken before. For now, follow me out. Squirm. Yes. At Blackie's command, the kraken's 8th tentacle Yoda hurriedly followed Blackie in. One of the kraken's tentacles stopped moving. Squirm, squirm. Please don't eat Yoda, spare me. Instead, a thin octopus tentacle wriggled desperately in Blackie's mouth. Blackie kept Yoda restrained, as there was still room for betrayal. Kaying. If you don't behave, I'll really swallow you. Squirm. Yes. Intimidated by Blackie's threat, Yoda quieted down. Kaying. It'll take too long to subdue the tentacles one by one. If we do, won't Butler stop seeing the great Blackie as great? Kaying. That's unacceptable. Everyone target the kraken's head directly. Blackie decided to go after the kraken's head with his subordinates. Killahit Kaying. The great Blackie is on the move. He flew into the sky, heading for the kraken's head. Showering. Ko. Piak. Mumu. To be precise, K-Kaba, Karurur, Shari, and Mubelchil carried Blackie on a spiderweb net created by G. Gomi, holding its edges in their mouths. Since Blackie couldn't fly on his own. Kaying. Faster. Boom boom. Blackie spun his tail like a propeller to help propel forward, but it didn't contribute much. And then, Mumu. Unlike the others, Mubelchil's wing flaps were exceptionally powerful. Kaying. Balchil, you're too fast. Though Blackie scolded him for it. Muahiti. Mubelchil still couldn't wipe the smile off his face. After a while, thud. The battle ended as Blackie collided with the kraken's head. Guys, let's take care of the kraken's body. Sejun, standing atop the kraken's head, spoke as he gathered the sleeping Blackie family. Puhuhut understood. Meow. Kuang. Whack. Bang. Theo and Kuangi struck the back of the kraken's head, dislodging its body from between the spatial rift and storing it in the void storage. While Theo and Kuangi worked on storing the kraken's body in the void storage. Kaiwat, there are so many hamsters here. Yona descended from the sky to reunite with her kind. The legend was true. The savior, the emperor of the Thunem Empire, Shakalang Hamsteria, gazed up with reverence at the pure white hamster, Yona, descending from the heavens. At that moment, crunch, crunch, a frivolous sound came from nearby. What is that sound? Frowning, Shakalang turned toward the source of the noise. Oh, what is this addictive crop? It was his son, vigorously gnawing on a peanut. A hamster so plump that he looked like he could roll around like a ball. This was none other than the crown prince of the Thunem Empire, Moose Hamsteria. Ah yes, I have a son. If I marry the savior to my moose, the Thunem Empire will prosper forever. As Shakalang made up his mind to somehow marry Yona to Moose. Kayuk, beautiful lady, will you marry me? All my loneliness was for meeting this hamster. Another hamster had beaten him to it. It was Bachai, Sejun's master, who had spent 300 years training in Mount Bara and remained a single hamster for 3 centuries. And then, Kaiwo get lost. Power of gravity tear apart the enemy, triple black hole. Kayak walk. For the crime of confessing, Bachai had to frantically run for his life to avoid being sucked into a black hole. This isn't going to work. Seeing this, Shakalang quickly abandoned his plan. Even one suggestion of marriage could lead to the collapse of the Thunem Empire. I pay my respects to the great savior. The emperor of the Thunem Empire, Shakalang Hamsteria, bowed deeply to Yona. Kayak. Unable to even properly confess and completely battered, Bachai dejectedly approached Sejun. He thought Sejun was the same type as him. But, Master Bo, stay strong. Someday a good day will come for you just like it did for me. Sejun was a soon-to-be married man. Haha, I already have a father-in-law, a mother-in-law, and even a brother-in-law. Feeling proud, Sejun consoled Bache. Kayuk. What, Sejun Nim is not single? What's with that look of disbelief? Kayuk. Hurt once again by Sejun's words, Bache slouched away, searching for a kindred spirit somewhere. Just then, Guard Yona is being hailed as a guardian deity by the residents of Hamk. Currently, Hamk has no guardian deity. Guard Yona lacks sufficient divinity to become the guardian deity of Hamk. Please designate a proxy guardian deity for Hamk in place of Guard Yona. The proxy guardian deity's qualification can be revoked at any time if Guard Yona attains the necessary divinity to oversee Hamk. A message appeared before Sejun. Yona, who had recently gained great enlightenment and significantly increased her strength, now possessed higher divinity than Sejun. However, Hamk was a level 7 world. To become Hamk's guardian deity, she needed even greater divinity than that required for other worlds. Who should I pick as the proxy guardian deity? As Sejun pondered, Kyung. Dad, we're done. Pip. Kyungi and Peacepeace, who had loaded the Kraken's body into the void storage, flew over and clung to Sejun's sides and shoulders. Hut, Chairman Park, I've returned, meow. Kaiwat, Sejun Nim, hello. Theo also appeared with Yona, who had crushed Bacha's hopes, hanging from his tail and clung to Sejun's knee. Good job, everyone. Pad. Sejun patted the heads of his companions, praising them. Is Blackie still not back? Kurorong. As Sejun patted the still sleeping Blackie's head. Inside the Kraken's mental world. Kraken, raise your 7 tentacles and bow your head. Yes. Now tell me everything you know. Yes, currently the calamities are being commanded by Jormungandr Nim. Hydra and Leviathan are in the middle of molting, and also, Blackie was extracting information about the calamities from the Kraken. Chapter 544, this popularity. Outskirts of destruction. What is he doing? Jormungandr, on his way to Hamk, stopped and looked curiously at Kraken, who was just standing still. He didn't realize that the Kraken was stuck between spaces, unable to move either forward or backward. At that moment, suddenly the Kraken's body went limp and SRRRK. It was sucked into the space between dimensions and the space closed. And then, what? This energy, Fenrir. Just before the space closed, Jormungandr sensed a familiar energy. Specifically, it was the spiritual pressure emitted by a soul. From beyond the space, the spiritual pressure of Fenrir, the god-hunting noble wolf and first seed of the apostle of destruction, could be felt. He abandoned Hamk. Jormungandr decisively gave up on Hamk. The fear of Fenrir, imprinted on Jormungandr's soul, made him do so. To Jormungandr, Fenrir was a reassuring ally when on the same side but a terrifying foe when faced as an enemy. Hamk, you have defeated the destruction invading Hamk. You have completed the quest. As a reward for completing the quest, peace has returned to Hamk. Well, of course, peace returns when there are no enemies. No other rewards. As Sejun muttered while checking the quest completion message. Kilahit Kaying. Butler named this one. Blackie, who had successfully performed the exorcism, came running while holding a tiny octopus in his mouth, one with a head no bigger than a thumbnail. PPR Ruluk. Including its legs, the octopus was only about the length of a thumb and was making strange noises. It was, of course, Kraken, the sea-devouring monster and 6th seed of the Apostle of Destruction. A name, let's see. Sejun carefully examined the Kraken. After all, he needed to understand its characteristics before naming it. The infamous Sejun naming shop is now open. Thump. The hearts of the Blackie family began pounding with anticipation. Of course, the heart pounding the hardest. Mokyun Mokyun belonged to Mubalchil, who had long awaited this moment with great anticipation. Octopus, 8 legs, cephalopod mollusk suction cups. As Sejun assessed Kraken's characteristics under everyone's expectant gazes. Pee-poo! Kraken suddenly squirted ink right onto Sejun's face while he was observing it closely. Splosh! Covered in ink out of nowhere, Sejun exclaimed. Arg, I can't see. He furiously wiped his face to remove the ink, but it wouldn't come off easily. Meow, Chairman Park, what did you do to your face, meow? Covering it like that won't hide your ugly face, meow. Theo, who had been handing over heart-shaped fur balls he made to Yona, belatedly noticed Sejun and offered some sincere advice. My face isn't ugly, and I'm not covering it, just pour some water on me first. Got it, meow. Splosh! While Theo poured water on Sejun's face to help him clean up. Kaying. Hey, what did you just do to the butler? Do you want more punishment? Blackie growled ferociously and threw Kraken, which he had been holding in his mouth. Pee-poo, pee-poo. Great Blackie-nim, I'm sorry. I was so nervous I didn't realize that I accidentally. Kraken had a condition where it would spray ink uncontrollably when anxious, much like irritable bowel syndrome. As Sejun wiped his face. Mukbupul. He spoke a name that suddenly came to mind. Ink muck squirting sound boo, 8 legs pow, Mukbupul. Mumu. Mubalchil cheered loudly for the name Sejun had come up with. It wasn't worse than his own name, but it wasn't one he could mock either. Welcome, Mukbupul. Mubalchil now had a companion to share his plight. Once the Kraken was given the new name Mukbupul. The effect of talent, Namer, has been activated. A special effect has been imbued in the name Mukbupul. All stats increase by 888. Power, Inc. 8 Shadow Clones has been bestowed. With the activation of the Namer effect, the name Mukbupul granted Kraken additional stats and a new power. Lucky you. Sejun looked at the messages enviously. A mere name gave it a stat boost and even a new power. And then, Mukbupul, you should know how lucky you are. If not for me, where would you find such a great name that comes with stats and a power? Sejun puffed up his chest as he addressed Mukbupul. Pee-poo. For Mukbupul, it didn't feel like luck at all. If the name had come out even a little later, Sejun, holding a grudge against the Kraken for spraying him with ink, might have tried hard to give it a terrible name. Just as Sejun finished nomming it. Chewy. Excuse me, coming through. From a distance, Kalchai pushed through the hamsters and approached Sejun's group. However, Kyui. How dare you try to approach the great ham god? Insolent fool, capture him. Kyui. Yes, sir. A plump hamster with golden fur, dressed in flamboyant clothing, commanded the temple knights leading the front row of hamsters to subdue Kalchai. It was Burel, the high priest of the ham god cult, who had once sentenced Kalchai to death by fire before the emergence of the Black Tower. For context, the ham god cult is a religion that worships the hamster god, and all the hamsters living in believe in it. Chewy. Let me go, I'm going to Sejun Nim. Kyui. Silence, heretic. After paying respects to the ham god, I'll deal with you. Burel threatened Kalchai and then approached Yona. And then, Kyui. It is an honor to meet the great ham god. I, Burel, high priest of the ham god cult, offer my greetings to the ham god. Burel prostrated himself before Yona, who was dangling from Theo's tail while hugging one of his heart-shaped fur balls tightly. Kaiwat, ham god. As Yona tilted her head in confusion. Kyui. Since we do not know the great ham god's name, may I humbly ask for your honorable name, great ham god? Burel cautiously inquired. Kaiwat, I'm Yona. Knowing that she would later become the guardian deity of Hamk, Iona answered her name without hesitation. Kyui. Oh, I offer my greetings again. Great Ham God Ionanim, I am Burel, high priest of the Ham God cult. Upon hearing Iona's name, Burel prostrated himself again. Despite doing nothing more than bowing and standing back up twice, sweat dripped from his body and soaked the ground, dampening his thick fur. Kaiwat, 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 nice to meet you, Burel Nim. Kiwi, Kiwi. The honor of meeting the great ham god Ionanim fills me with such overwhelming emotion that I cannot contain myself. This glorious moment is the reward for the decades of devout prayers I have offered to the ham god. After Iona called him by his name, Burel eagerly recounted all the things he had done in service to the ham god, wringing out every last detail. However, this is too long. His response was excessively lengthy and tiresome. Although Iona, as the tower master of the Black Parkei Wizard Tower and the head of the Wizards Association, was not unaccustomed to dealing with such individuals. Me, Kyung, Sejun, Theo, and Kyungi, who had been listening out of curiosity and amazement, stretched out and yawned loudly, physically expressing their boredom. And then, Kaiwat, Theonim is bored, I must end this now. Realizing Theo's disinterest, Iona tried to dismiss Burel. Kyui, Kyui, Kyui. How dare you yawn while the great ham god Ionanim and I, the high priest, are speaking? Even as her servants, your behavior is utterly disrespectful. Great Ionanim, please burn them to uphold the dignity of the great ham god. Completely oblivious to the atmosphere, Burel scolded Sejun, Theo, and Kyungi, pointing his finger at them and clucking his tongue in disapproval. And then, Kaiwo, 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 power of fire, burn the enemy, ignite. How dare you point fingers at our Sejun Nim, Theo Nim, and Kyungi? Enraged, Iona burned Burel with fire. Kyui. Burel rolled on the ground to extinguish the flames on his body. Thanks to his quick actions and the fact that his fur was damp, the fire didn't spread significantly. However, Burel's once proud golden fur was scorched black, leaving him looking like a black hamster. Kaiwo, Kaiwo, stand over there with your hands up. Kyui. Yes. Unable to respond to Iona's words, which were brimming with killing intent, Burel obediently accepted his punishment. At that moment, isn't that Kalchai? Sejun noticed Kalchai, who was being restrained by the temple knights. Kalchai. When Sejun called out to Kalchai, Kyui. The temple knights were flustered. Just moments ago, their high priest had pointed at that human and was punished by divine retribution. Kyui. Sejun Nim. Seizing the opportunity, Kalchai dashed towards Sejun. Lick, lick. This time, I'll make sure to lick it. Kalchai charged at Sejun's shoe, but... Grab. Kyui. Kalchai was caught in Sejun's hand, failing once again. Kalchai, congratulations, you're the new high priest now. Sejun spoke while looking at such a Kalchai. He had a feeling that if Kalchai managed the temple, it would become very clean. Kyui. Me a high priest. Kalchai was flustered by Sejun's declaration. Yup, from now on, you'll assist the guardian deity who comes in place of Iona. As for you, Bachai, you're promoted to commander of the temple knights. Sejun also assigned a position to Bachai. And you're just a believer now. Kyui. Burel, who had dared to point fingers at Sejun, was demoted from high priest to a mere believer. Thus, word spread among the residents of Hamk that the Kraken invasion was repelled by the ham god Iona, and peace was restored. 3 days later, Sejun was still staying in Hamk, feeding the hamsters every morning, noon, and evening, which increased his stats and mental strength. In his spare time, he learned swordsmanship from Bachai. Hub! As Sejun shouted and swung his sword. Kayak. Your sword path deviated by 0.1 degrees. Bachai lightly tapped Sejun's sword. No. Thud. Sejun lost his balance and fell to the ground, following the sword path he had created. Kayak. Oh dear, you should have been more careful. especially since you have someone special. Bache said, looking at Sejun with mock sympathy, all while wearing a mischievous smile. You, Master Bo, you did that on purpose, didn't you? Sejun quickly got up and confronted Bache. Ever since Bache found out that Sejun wasn't single, he had been messing with him during every sparring session. Though it annoyed Sejun. Your proficiency of advanced swordsmanship LV9 has reached its limit and is leveling up. Strength increased by 13. Stamina increased by 8. Agility increased by 5. He couldn't stay mad because it was helping him improve his training. Should I start matchmaking among the hamsters? While Sejun pondered as he looked at Bache, who wore a smug expression. Chewy. Calchai, who had been assisting Sejun nearby, began mimicking his swordsmanship, swinging a small stick and attempting to replicate Sejun's earlier movements. Chewy. If Sejun Nim moves like this here, then I should move like Bache Nim does. Oh, this way I'll be able to lick Sejun Nim's shoes. Even while practicing swordsmanship, Calchai, now a high priest, could only think about licking Sejun's shoes. However, Kayak, he's already replicating that. Bache was shocked as he watched Calchai swing the stick. Calchai wasn't just following Bache's sword path, he was also grasping the sword's intent and wielding it accordingly. It turned out that Calchai was a genius in swordsmanship. Kayak, High Priest Calchai, do you have a significant other? Chewy. A significant other? No, I don't. Kayak, from today onward, you will learn swordsmanship from me. Chewy, yes. Welcome to the Singles Corps, soldier. Unknowingly, Calchai had enlisted in the Singles Corps. And then, Chewy, oh, so this is magic swordsmanship. Within an hour of training with Bache, Calchai, who started at beginner swordsmanship LV1, had awakened magical swordsmanship. 5 days later, you can now imbue magic into your sword. As your realm advances, advanced swordsmanship master has transformed into magic swordsmanship LV1. The potential of all stats has increased by 3,000. All stats have increased by 100. Sejun also managed to awaken magical swordsmanship, but you have run out of stay fee funds. Returning to the 99th floor of the Black Tower. I haven't finished learning yet. With funds depleted, Sejun and his companions were forced to return to the Black Tower. And then, Sejun, why are you only back now? In-law, son-in-law Park, brother-in-law. Kaiser, Anton, Elizabeth, and Ace gave him an intense welcome. This popularity. Sejun, thinking they were welcoming him because of his popularity, smiled with satisfaction. But then, the tower's administrator tells you that she have been practicing cooking diligently while you were away. The tower's administrator urges you to hurry to the kitchen and taste her cooking. Hearing Aileen's words, Sejun's expression stiffened as he realized the true reason behind their welcome. Chapter 545, Oh Yay. The 99th floor of the Black Tower. I feel bloated. After finishing Aileen's food, Sejun emerged from the kitchen with a drastically worsening complexion. Of course, it wasn't because he had eaten too much. Meow, Chairman Park's face is chubby and looks seriously ugly. Meow. What do you mean chubby and seriously ugly, MMPH? This is an emergency. Meow. There's no time. Meow. Immediate treatment. Meow. While receiving a facial massage from Theo's front paw. Kyung, Dad, here's some hot chocolate milk. Drink this and get your energy back. Sejun recovered his condition while drinking the chocolate milk Kyungi had made for him. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, butler, cheer up, I'll play with you. Blackie, pretending to help improve Sejun's condition, was actually attempting to fulfill its own selfish desires. Blackie, go play with your subordinates. Kaying, but I want to play with my butler. It didn't work on Sejun. With the care from Theo and Kyungi, Sejun recovered his condition. Let's go to bed now. Good night, Kyungi. Kyung. Good night, Dad. After sending Kyungi off to Pinkfur, Sejun went into the bedroom with his companions to sleep. Shortly after, Pip Pip, good night, everyone. Peacebees got up and began its nightly activities, heading outside. Ku, Gororong, Kirorong, Murorong. In the bedroom, where everyone was fast asleep, only Mukpupil remained awake. No, in fact, Mukpupil hadn't slept even once since joining Blackie family. Peepoo. I can't fall asleep. Mukpupil was suffering from insomnia. It vaguely remembered sleeping before, but ever since it started hanging out with Snake Faction, it rarely got any sleep. More precisely, Snake Faction had prevented Mukpupil from sleeping, to exploit it. Although Leviathan brought Kraken to Snake Faction, claiming they were all sea creatures. Kraken, I'm a bit busy right now. Could you handle this for me? All right. Kraken, I have too much work to do. Could you go there on my behalf? Sure. Snake Faction's true intention was to use Kraken for its own benefit. Between Jormungandr, Hydra, and Leviathan, Kraken ended up doing the bulk of Snake Faction's tasks while fulfilling their requests as well. To handle the workload, Kraken gradually reduced its sleeping hours until it could no longer sleep at all. Peepoo. So bored. Unable to sleep, Mukpupil alleviated its boredom by exploring Sejun's bedroom. At that moment, Mukpupil, why aren't you sleeping? Sejun, half asleep, opened his eyes and asked Mukpupil. Peepoo. I can't fall asleep. Really? Wait a moment. Clink. Hearing Mukpupil's reply, Sejun opened his void storage and Kaya, bring me a plum of deep sleep. Had the Destruction Pioneer bring plums. Then, crop miniaturization, here, eat this, it'll help you sleep better. Using his skill, he reduced the size of the plum and handed it to Mukpupil. Peepoo. Thank you for the meal. Even though the plum had been shrunk, it was still larger than Mukpupil. Wrapping its legs around the plum, Mukpupil's body stretched, fully engulfing the plum. Peepoo. It's delicious, so good. Mukpupil began eating the plum with great relish. Come to think of it, Jormungandr Nim did promise to let me rest after this mission was over. Peepurorong. While munching on the plum, thoughts of a vacation crossed Mukpupil's mind, and it slowly drifted off to sleep. In its dreams, Mukpupil swam through the ocean, enjoying a peaceful holiday. Kaying. Hey, wake up, it's playtime now. Until Blackie woke it up in the morning. And then, eating, playing, sleeping. Eating, playing, sleeping. A real vacation, not a dream, began. Seed Shop Headquarters. The time for battle has come again. This time I have a good feeling. Trustin Park is on my side. What nonsense, Trustin Park is with me. No, it's me. It's me, I tell you. The non-combat gods who had created their transcendence-grade seeds for the seed shop began gathering in the plaza. This was because the seed shop was set to open in a few hours. At that moment, what nonsense, Trustin Park is with me, I tell you. Pan, the god of gold dust, appeared confidently, holding a transcendence-grade seed in his hand. I'd like to argue, but I can't. Indeed. The other non-combat gods gritted their teeth in frustration at Pan's triumphant proclamation. But, Puahaha, congratulations, Pan. Isn't this guy getting too full of himself? Let it slide. At times like this, you've got to let him enjoy the moment. Soon, they all banded together to celebrate Pan. This was because Pan had just become the proxy guardian deity of Hamk. A few days ago, Park Sejun, the tower farmer of the Black Tower, proposes appointing you as the proxy guardian deity of Hamk under the condition of a 99:1 distribution ratio and an expansion of the gold dust mining area you previously established. Letter 213. Trustin Park assigning Hamk to me. Sejun had sent Pan a message proposing he become the proxy guardian deity. The reason Sejun chose Pan as Hamp's guardian deity was to expand the 3.3 square meter sized gold dust mining area in the pond. Wedding. Oh, there's a lot of shiny stuff here. The seventh poisonous queen bee, seventh, who lived on the 99th floor of the Black Tower, began mining gold dust, making it possible to operate the mining area effectively. Wedding. Sweetenham, if we give this shiny stuff to Sejunum, he'll be happy. Billing. Really? True to its talent for sycophancy, Seventh knew that to win over Sweetie, it first had to win over Sejun. Unlike those who were harassing Hunt, the god of hunting, back at the combat shop headquarters, Seventh took a different approach. Thanks to this, Sweetie was receiving praise from Sejun daily, while delivering 10 kilograms of gold to him every day. Of course, even if it wasn't gold, Sejun would have still praised Sweetie. Sweetie, is there anything uncomfortable for you? But in addition to the praise, Sejun's meticulous capitalistic service was also included. When nearly all the non-combat gods had gathered in the plaza with their seeds in hand. Kugung. It's here. At the center of the seed shop headquarters, a spherical seed altar appeared, and the non-combat gods began placing their seeds into the altar. When all the non-combat gods in the plaza had placed their seeds into the altar, few made it just in time. Thankfully, we're not late. Chaos, the god of chaos and order, the god of order, appeared in the plaza and placed the seeds of chaos and order into the altar. Then, Gugung. The altar began spinning rapidly, preparing for the draw. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. The non-combat gods chanted desperately while staring at the altar, praying that Sejun would choose their transcendence-grade seeds. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Hailya. Miuo. Keikaing. As Sejun and Theo woke up, and Theo stretched lazily at the front door. Brother-in-law. Ace came running towards Sejun. His expression was full of joy, but wadadada. His footsteps sounded dangerously threatening. And then, Pug. Ace threw himself into Sejun's arms. Urg. My baby brother-in-law has gotten strong. Thanks to this, Sejun experienced firsthand how much stronger Ace had become. Although Sejun himself had grown much stronger in Hamk, he was no match for the wild Ace, who had grown powerful by eating Sejun's crops raw to escape Aileen's cooking. Brother-in-law, let's eat. Ace, looking around warily, urged Sejun to hurry and eat. He was on edge because he didn't know when his sister might force him to eat her food. Though Sejun's presence meant he no longer had to eat Aileen's food, the young dragon Ace wasn't ready to let his guard down just yet. All right. Since he was planning to make breakfast anyway, Sejun carried Ace on his back and headed to the kitchen. Kyung. Along the way, they met Kyungi and went together. Hum hum hum. As Sejun hummed a tune while cooking in the kitchen. Ho ho ho, our dear son-in-law, you're up early today. Elizabeth walked into the kitchen with a bright smile. A little while later. Mother-in-law, please have some, everyone dig in. Sejun placed the finished food on the table. Aileen, try this. He also sent a massive amount of food to Aileen. The tower's administrator says she wonders why you made so much and that she can only eat a little, but she'll try her best to eat it since it's from you, speaking with a happy voice. Haha, you say that, but I know it'll all disappear by today. Perfect, this ensures Aileen won't be cooking today. Sejun had preemptively filled Aileen's stomach to prevent her from cooking. Kihihihi, today I'll just eat lots of Sejun's cooking and go to sleep. Fortunately, Sejun successfully sealed away Aileen's cooking for the day. Hehe, now let's see how it tastes. Thus his happy breakfast began. A little while later. Oh my, how much did I eat? As expected, our dear son-in-law's cooking is the best. Puahihi, that's right, brother-in-law's cooking is the best. The great black dragon, Elizabeth Pratani, praises your cooking highly. Your soul becomes greatly fulfilled from receiving high praise from a high-ranking being. Your mental strength increases by 30. The great but young black dragon hatchling, Ace Pratani, praises your cooking highly. Your mental strength increases by 5. Receiving high praise from Elizabeth and Ace, who had eaten proper food for the first time in a while, Sejun's mental strength increased. After breakfast, Kyung. Thanks Kyungi. Slurp. As expected, the coffee my son makes is the best. Sejun gave a dramatic thumbs up as he sipped the coffee Kyungi had brewed. Kyuiha. Kyungi smiled brightly and widely in response. A little while later. Puhu Hut, Chairman Park, I'll go make lots of money, meow. Kyung. Kyungi will gather lots of herbs too. Theo and Kyungi headed off to the 4th floor of the Golden Tower and the herb garden respectively, while Sejun also began his morning routine. Magic swordsmanship. Sejun, applying what he learned from Bacha, infused magic into his sickle and began harvesting green onions. As he worked, you have harvested detoxifying green onions. Magic is slightly infused into the detoxifying green onions. Their shelf life is extended by 3 hours. Your job experience increases slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV9 increases slightly. Your proficiency in magic swordsmanship LV1 increases slightly. You gain 100 experience points. The shelf life of the crops had increased, even if only slightly. Thanks to that, Sejun worked with quadruple efficiency, harvesting crops, increasing shelf life, and raising proficiency in 2 skills. Haha, this is the swordsmanship of a tower farmer, farming swordsmanship. Swish. While Sejun was enthusiastically harvesting crops feeling a bit smug. Seed shop is now open. Sejun's 15th seed shop opened. Park Sejunim's rank is transcendent. 7 types of seeds, including transcendence grade seeds, are randomly displayed for today's sale. At your current rank, you can purchase as many seeds as you want within a 500 tower coins limit. However, 100 bok choy seeds, 70 tower coins. 100 gondar seeds, 50 tower coins. 10 yuzu seeds, 5 tower coins. This time, not a single transcendence grade seed appeared in the seed list. It had been a while since Sejun had such bad luck. While it was disappointing for the non-combat gods, Sejun wasn't disappointed at all. Oh gondar. Mix it with rice to make thistle rice and season it with sauce. Ku. Haha, with yuzu, I can make citron tea and citron jam. Because there were many delicious things. After buying all 7 types of seeds. Hum. Come on, little ones, grow quickly. Humming a tune, Sejun planted the seeds. Sea of Dimensions. Is it here? Boom. When Flamey struck a massive wall with her enormous root. Kugung. The wall crumbled, revealing a stone statue in the form of a sacred goddess. Hee, I've found it. Flamey happily touched the statue with her root after discovering it. At that moment, candidate for the Tree of Creation, are you prepared to undergo the trial? The statue's mouth moved as it spoke to Flamey. This was the place Creator God had taught her about, where one takes the test to become a true Tree of Creation. Yes. When Flamey answered, with a voice full of determination. Very well, then I shall begin the first trial. Bring me a magic stream seed within 10 days. The trial had begun. Will a great magic stream seed work as well? Knowing that Sejun didn't have a magic stream seed but did have great magic stream seeds, Flamey asked the statue. Yes, since it is better than magic stream seed, there will be additional rewards. Oh, an incredibly easy trial. Flamey was about to ask Kyungi to fetch the seed from Sejun and quickly complete the trial when I will seal your powers while you take the first trial. The statue sealed Flamey's powers. You're sealing my powers. Oh yay. Great, now I can stay with Sejunim. Flamey scrapped its plan to pass the trial immediately, and decided to spend the full 10 days playing by Sejun's side before completing the first trial. Chapter 546. What should we do with our Flamey being so fragile? Fourth floor of the Golden Tower. Pew Hut, Olga family, I have arrived, meow. Theo, who came out of the bag of the legendary merchant wandering the 9 towers, announced his arrival. At that moment, Vice Chairman Theonim, you've arrived. The elves, who had joined Sejun Company and were selling Sejun's crops to the Olga family, approached Theo and greeted him. The elves were no longer in the skinny, malnourished state they had been in before. They looked healthy, as if they were eating well. This was thanks to the changes that had occurred in the Golden Tower over time. First of all, Theo had hired the elves and compensated them for their work entirely with magical cherry tomato as both meals and wages, providing the elves with a large supply of food. On top of that, during the third gathering of the dragons' meeting, the golden dragons drank the earth attribute pear wine, which partially neutralized the lightning energy clashing with their internal energy. As a result, the amount of lightning energy released outside significantly decreased, and the frequency of lightning strikes around the Golden Tower had dropped substantially compared to before. Thanks to this, the elves had more time to wander outside, allowing them to collect additional food from the outside world. For reference, the trio Marin, Machan, and Majin were leading the Three-Ma Trading Company, affiliated with Sejun Company, and were active in the mid-floors of the Golden Tower. The name Three-Ma Trading Company was given by Sejun because all three had the surname Ma. The Three-Ma Trading Company quickly gained a foothold, thanks to support from Demon Family's head, Yudo, who helped his younger brothers start anew. From the very first month, they began generating profits and were paying 50% of their earnings as tribute to Theo. Olga family, let's start the auction, meow. After receiving greetings from the elves, Theo looked at the assembled Olga family members and began the auction. And Pew Hut sold out, meow. Once again, Theo successfully sold out Sejun's new crops, concluding the auction. Pew Hut, everyone keep up the hard work, meow. I can't wait to see Chairman Park, meow. As always, Theo was quick to leave work for the day. Shall we head home now too? Let's do that. Following their vice chairman's example, the employees of Sejun Company also finished their work on time and left for home. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I have returned, meow. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi is back. Theo and Kyungi, who had both returned around the same time, came looking for Sejun. Oh, you're back. When Sejun welcomed them. Meow. Kyung. Theo and Kyungi hurriedly covered their noses. Chairman Park, your breath smells like poop, meow. Kyung. Don't tell me Dad even poops from his mouth. Because there was a poop smell coming from Sejun's mouth. Poop, no way, that's not it, haha, smell again, who? Sejun teased Theo and Kyungi by blowing his breath toward them. At that moment, meow. Theo quickly put on a gas mask that Yona had made and clung to Sejun's leg. Kyueha Kyung. Hehe, Kyungi doesn't smell anything now. Kyungi also plugged his nose and clung to Sejun's side. Both of them were already accustomed to such situations, so they always carried tools to block odors. Guys, this isn't a poop smell, it's this smell. Sejun, who had lost interest in teasing them, showed them a yellow fruit with sharp thorns. It was durian. He had planted the fruit long ago and forgotten about it, only to notice a foul smell coming from somewhere. When he investigated, he discovered the durian had ripened. Sejun and Blackie were in the middle of tasting it when Theo and Kyungi arrived. At that moment, Kilahit Kaying. Hee butler, give me more. I'd like some as well. K Kurug. Shallering. Apparently, the durian suited their tastes, as Blackie family began urging Sejun for more. All right, hold on. Sejun cut the durian into small pieces and distributed them to Blackie family. Kyungi, do you want to try it too? He asked Kyungi, who was staring curiously at the durian. Kyung. That's really not poop. No, it's delicious. Trust Dad and give it a try. When Sejun brought the durian to Kyungi's mouth. Kyung. All right. Kyungi tightly closed his eyes and accepted the durian. And then, Kyungi's eyes sparkled like a star exploding, gleaming with delight. Kyung. It's delicious, soft and sweet. Kyungi, who had just discovered the taste of durian, became excited. Kilahit Kaying. Hee big bro, it's delicious, right? Peel one for me too. Kyuahet Kyung. Hehe got it. Kyungi began peeling and eating durian with Blackie, who was enthusiastically wagging his tail right in front of him. Mother-in-law and Ace said they'd sleep until dinner. Then lunch will be durian. As Sejun thought that lunch was now sorted. Chairman Park, I'm hungry, meow. He felt Theo's intense gaze piercing through him. All right. Chieka. Sejun grilled fish to a golden perfection and gave it to Theo. Pew hut. As expected, Chairman Park's grilled fish is the best, meow. Theo praised it highly while eating with great delight. How could I not cook for someone eating so deliciously? He patted Theo's head while continuing to eat his durian. A little later. Okay, let's brush our teeth now. Kaying. No, the great Blackie doesn't need to brush his teeth. Blackie ran away at full speed upon hearing Sejun's words. However, summon shadow minions. Kaying. Sejun summoned 3 shadow minions to block Blackie's escape route. Kaying. Fake butler, let go of the great Blackie. Blackie was ultimately captured by the shadow minions and handed over to Sejun. Kaying. It tastes bad. In the end, Blackie grimaced as he was subjected to brushing. All right, let's get to work now. After finishing up the toothbrushing, Sejun and his companions were about to start their afternoon farming. At that moment, Sejunum. Flamey appeared, calling Sejun with a strained voice. Huh, Flamey. Vice Chairman Theo absorbed my energy. Got it, meow. Sejun quickly had Theo absorb his energy. Flamey had been struggling due to Sejun's overly strong energy. That's right, my Flamey is like a fragile sunfish. Sejun, infinitely kind to sunfish-like beings, immediately began caring for Flamey. Flamey, are you okay? He placed Flamey in his palm and started giving her some gentle care. Farmer's Warm Touch LV 8 is activated. Your touch slightly heal the weakened apple tree Flamey. First, Sejun used Farmer's Warm Touch to provide healing. Abundance. Power Abundance is applied to apple tree Flamey. Apple tree Flamey's vitality has doubled. Next, he used the power Abundance to increase Flamey's vitality. For a sunfish-like being, vitality was of utmost importance. And then, Flamey, startled by Sejun's sudden use of a power, froze. She cautiously observed Sejun with a tense expression. Flamey, are you feeling better now? But Sejun's expression remained unchanged. Yes, I feel much better now. Flamey responded brightly, smiling widely at Sejun's question. This seal is really good. Thanks to the trial statue perfectly sealing her powers, Sejun remained fine even after using powers on Flamey. So Flamey felt relieved that she was perfectly sealed. Hey, it's so warm. Sejun's aura of sunlight, an additional effect of his growing seed job talent, made his palm a supremely cozy resting place. I'm so happy. Focusing on the warm touch of Sejun, who gently stroked her leaves, Flamey quietly settled down. It was the unique way a tree, which couldn't sleep, rested. Is she asleep? Sejun gazed quietly at Flamey, who had gone silent. What should I do with our Flamey being so fragile? He looked at her with worried eyes. And then, Great Hybrid Chairman Park, now is not the time to be worrying about Flamey, meow. Dad, Flamey Nuna is way stronger than you. Theo and Kyungi looked at Sejun with sympathetic expressions. Kaying. Butler, play with me too. Only Blackie was an exception. Having often seen Sejun act this way, Any sense of pity Blackie might have felt had long disappeared. Instead, Kaying, "Butler, I'm hurt too." "Huh, where does it hurt?" Kaying, "My stomach hurts." "Tesk, you ate too much earlier. You really are such a sunfish, come here." "Hee hee, stupid butler." Blackie had realized it was more fun to tease Sejun. "Blackie, follow me, meow." "Kyung." "Blackie, it seems we need to have a long overdue chat." As long as he didn't get caught by his older brothers, of course. Creator God's Temple. The planet Moke has fallen to the invasion of the seventh calamity, the planet-destroying turtle. The Black Tower's tower farmer Park Sejun and his companions have defeated Kraken, the seed-devouring monster and sixth seed of the Apostle of Destruction, and saved Hamk. The planet Gamo has fallen to the invasion of the seventh calamity, the planet-destroying turtle. Amid messages of destruction, there was one message of salvation, like a much-needed rain. How strange! With Sejun and his companions' power, it should have been absolutely impossible to defeat the Kraken. The Creator God stared at the message, puzzled. Even though there were 8 beings in Sejun's group that possessed the souls of the Apostles of Destruction, they were merely the former Apostles in soul. Their strength was minimal. Not to mention Sejun's utterly weak power. Theo, Kyungi, Peacebees, and Iona were strong, but not to the extent of inflicting significant damage on an Apostle of Destruction. There was no clear explanation, yet Sejun and his companions seemed to win in situations where victory seemed impossible. Not just once, but multiple times. For some unknown reason, things that shouldn't have been possible became possible when they were together. Even the Creator God, who could see through all natural laws, didn't know what mysterious force was working among them, a force that bound them tightly. Should I take a gamble on them? The Creator God began to contemplate deeply, with a serious expression. Thanks to Sejun taming as many as 9 Apostles of Destruction, the speed of the calamities, invasions had significantly slowed down. But the world was already like a ship sinking into the sea, slowly heading towards destruction. At that moment, Wuang, the black crystal that Emila and Amur were touching, turned white, and the waypoint connected to the land of destruction began to activate. And then, Creator God were heading out. "We'll be back." The 2 Apostles of Creation moved to the land of destruction through the waypoint. 1 hour later, Huff, the 2 returned, drenched in blood, gasping for breath. Combat Shop Headquarters. "Why isn't my method working?" Hunt, the god of hunting, had once again had his pride shattered. "There's definitely something I don't know about." He was carefully observing Theo to figure out how to approach him. And then, "What, Battlernim? Theo already has a butler who feeds him." He protested to Battler as he watched Theo happily eating grilled fish that he had received from Sejun. "Butler, so the one who feeds him is the butler." "Sigh, I clearly wrote it in 1,000 Ways to Completely Win a Cat's Heart, Chapter 1. If there's already a butler feeding the cat, it's easier to just find another cat." He spoke in a dejected tone. I must have skipped over the first chapter, so is there no way?" "HMPH, I am Hunt, the god of hunting. There is no prey I cannot catch. I'll descend myself and tame that cat Theo." Boasting loudly to Battler, Hunt began searching the area around Theo. "All right, that one will do." He dropped his divine relic in front of a black minotaur who was tilling the soil. It was an attempt to descend through the divine relic. Sending a divine relic to a specific location was a method that consumed a great deal of divine power and was rarely used, but my pride is at stake. Recovering his pride was far more important. And then, Moo, what is this? Wu Chin Sam, Minotaur 1003, who had been tilling the ground, noticed the antique-looking bow lying on the ground. "Moo, Sejun Nim, there's something here." He called out to Sejun, who was planting seeds nearby. After being caught as a thief by Theo in the past, Wu Chin Sam, Minotaur 1003, had developed the habit of not picking up anything that had fallen to the ground without first confirming it with Sejun. Yes. Sejun approached after hearing Wuchen Sam's Minotaur 1003 call. Huh, it's a bow. Why would something like this be here? Grab. The moment Sejun grabbed the bow. Damn it, it's a chick instead of a pheasant. Hunt, the god of hunting, had no choice but to descend into Sejun's body. But, where am I? Whether the descent had gone wrong, Hunt found himself in the middle of a forest. And then, what do you think you're doing? A colossal tree, so enormous that it couldn't be captured in a single glance, stood at the center of the forest and glared at Hunt with hostility. Don't disturb my vacation. Crunch. Roots large enough to cover the sky began crashing down on Hunt. Flamey, are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? Sejun, noticing Flamey frowning, looked at her with worried eyes. Hey, no, I'm fine. I just feel a little stiff. I think it's time to move around a bit. Stretching as if to shake off the stiffness, Flamey subtly removed the leaf she had placed on the bow. Chapter 547. Honestly, I think I sang pretty well. How dare you, how dare you? Bang. Candidate of the Tree of Creation, let's talk this out. Hunt, the god of hunting, shouted belatedly upon recognizing Flamey's identity. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Flamey, furious at Hunt for interrupting her vacation, punished him relentlessly until her anger subsided. It's entirely my fault. Only after Hunt knelt down did Flamey finally stop her strikes. Then, Theoraboni. Flamey called out to Theo, who was busily licking his fur while sitting on Sejun's knee in reality. Meow, why are you calling meow? Please give me your front paw. Meow. When Theo held out his paw to Flamey. Tab. Shift. Flamey touched Theo's front paw with her leaf, and 119:15. Where is this place now? And the bewildered Hunt looked around at the suddenly changed surroundings. At that moment, Pew Hut, welcome meow. Ultra Supergiant Chairman Park, please grab that guy meow. Thud. Theo, clinging on the knee of Giant Chairman Park in his mental world, grinned wickedly as he looked at Hunt. Flamey had transferred Hunt to Theo's mental world, where Giant Chairman Park resided. Moments later, Buffy. Giant Chairman Park, hold him tight meow. Don't let him escape meow. After Theo caught Hunt, he exited the mental world. And then, Pew Hut, Blackie, stamp here meow. I'll give you some roasted and dried sweet potato in return meow. Theo presented an permanent employee contract to Blackie, urging him to stamp it with his paw next to his own paw print that was already on it. To make a contract with a god, the power gap needed to be bridged. Kaying. Roasted and dried sweet potato. Stamp. At the mere mention of roasted and dried sweet potato, Blackie stamped the contract without a second thought. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, Hyung, I stamped it. Hurry and give me the roasted and dried sweet potato. Blackie barked eagerly, wagging his tail in front of Theo. It seemed Blackie didn't know the gravity of randomly stamping contracts. After all, no one had ever dared to deceive Blackie before. And it was unlikely anyone would dare in the future. Even if someone tried, Blackie was strong enough to forcibly break the contract, so casually stamping contracts probably wouldn't lead to any major issues. Moreover, now he had terrifying Hyungs to back him up. In any case, Pew Hut, here it is meow. Kivihit. Blackie received the roasted and dried sweet potato from Theo. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And began eating it joyfully. Pew Hut. Theo returned to his mental world, holding the contract stamped with Blackie's paw print. Now stamp here meow. No. Theo slipped between Hunt's hands, which were immobilized by Giant Chairman Park, and pressed Hunt's thumb onto the contract under the employee section. And so, following Battler, the second permanent employee from among the gods joined Sejun Company. Hunt, the god of hunting, who had come to tame Theo, ended up becoming Theo's subordinate instead. I'm not going down alone. Theonim, actually, all of this was ordered by Battler, the god of battle. Let's summon Battler too and make him stamp the contract. I'll help. Meow, Battler already stamped it, meow. What, I'm not the first. That's right, meow. Damn it, this is frustrating. Hunt felt strangely frustrated at Theo's words. He wasn't sure if it was because Battler hadn't mentioned being forced to stamp the contract, or because he had stamped it later than Battler, but either way. Battler, Hunt, the god of hunting, seethed with resentment and vowed revenge against Battler. And then, Theonim, actually Battler was planning to. Hunt tattled on all of Battler's schemes to Theo. And so, unaware that Sejun Company had just acquired its second god employee. Relentless Hunter's Bow. A divine relic created by Hunt, the god of hunting, using the bones and tendons of his hunted prey as materials, infused with his power. Even if the target isn't aimed at directly, the arrow flies toward the target. The more magic power is infused, the more accurately the arrow will fly toward the target. Usage restriction, none. Creator Hunt, the god of hunting. Grade SSS. Skill Homing Wind Arrow Master. Homing Wind Arrow Master. 3 times per day, shoot a wind arrow made of wind that pursues the enemy until the end. Sejun checked the options on the bow he had picked up. But why is a divine relic just lying on the ground? The sudden appearance of a divine relic. Hehe, finders keepers. Sejun didn't care about the reason and I should give this to Kyung Chul. He decided to give the divine relic of Hunt, the god of hunting, to his colleague Kyung Chul. Hunt had removed the usage restrictions from the divine relic to allow anyone to use it, and thanks to that, Kyung Chul would be able to equip a good bow. Clank. Sejun stored the bow in his void storage and then swoosh. You have planted golden rice seed, +2 in magic-infused soil. He began planting rice in the field again. Recently, he had used 1 drop of the enhancing elixir made by Hamer, the god of farming, on the rice seed to create a +2 golden rice seed. And now, the total stats increase from the rice as medicine effect had risen from 150 to 200. The reason Sejun was suddenly so focused on rice farming was because the dragons had placed massive orders for attribute wines. The interesting thing was that they didn't just order wine matching their own attributes, but also large quantities of wines opposing their attributes. At first, they had consumed the wines because they were delicious, but after the meeting, when back in their tower, the dragons realized that wines of the opposite attribute neutralized their energy and helped maintain the balance of the tower. As a result, all the attribute wines Sejun had previously made were long sold out. Moreover, by the time the dragons realized the effects of the wines, Sejun was away in Hamk, leaving the tower unattended for several days, which led to an overwhelming pileup of advance orders from the dragons. In response, Sejun had hurriedly instructed the Black Minotaurs to prepare the fields, and he was now busy planting rice. The rice planting continued until evening, and as the sun began to set, Kyungi, Blackie, let's eat dinner. Sejun called Kyungi and Blackie, who were helping him plant rice. Of course, for Blackie, simply avoiding trouble counted as helping. There was no need to call Theo, who had been clinging to Sejun's knee while planting rice, or Flamey, who had spent all day sunbathing on Sejun's straw hat. As they wrapped up the day and walked toward the cooking area. Flamey, are you feeling okay? Yes, being with you, Sejun Nim, makes me feel energized. And I got to relieve lots and lots of stress. Flamey stretched widely and responded to Sejun's question with enthusiasm. A moment later. Son-in-law Park, we're here. Brother-in-law Ace is here. Elizabeth and Ace entered the cooking area, where Sejun was preparing food. Just a moment, Vice Chairman Theo absorbed their energy. Pew Hut got it, meow. Sejun quickly had Theo absorb Elizabeth and Ace's energy to protect Flamey from any potential danger. He, thank you, Sejun Nim. Flamey was overjoyed at receiving Sejun's sunfish care. She was happy to be by Sejun's side and receive his attention. At that moment, so you're Flamey, nice to meet you. I'm the great black dragon Elizabeth Pratani. Elizabeth, having heard from Kaiser and Anton about Flamey's true nature, introduced herself first. However, even the dragons merely thought of Flamey as a dimensional tree slightly higher in rank than the world tree. They hadn't realized she was the tree of creation. The difference was just one word, but the level between the tree of creation and a dimensional tree was worlds apart. Hello, I'm Flamey Park. Flamey also bowed politely in greeting. Elizabeth was Sejun's mother-in-law. There were plenty of reasons to make a good impression. Then, hello, Flamey. I'm the great black dragon Bongryong Ace Pratani. Ace, peeking his head out shyly from behind Elizabeth, greeted Flamey timidly. He seemed awkward since it was his first time meeting Flamey. Brother-in-law gave me my name. Still, he didn't forget to boast. After the greetings were over, dinner began. As expected, brother-in-law's cooking is the best. I want to live with brother-in-law forever. Ace declared that he wanted to live with Sejun, only for the tower administrator to interrupt. The tower administrator absolutely forbids it. The tower administrator says Sejun must live with her. Why, I want to live with brother-in-law too. Ace burst into a storm of tears at his sister's opposition. It's okay, you can just live next door, so don't cry. Okay, sniff brother-in-law, thank you. After that small commotion, the enjoyable dinner came to an end, and Elizabeth and Ace went back to sleep. Elizabeth needed rest to recover, while Ace needed it for his growth. And then, this is nice. Slurp. Sejun sat on the wooden bench, sipping the coffee Kyungi had brewed as he gazed at the night sky. Pew hu hut. He. Kyu-he-ha. Kivi-hit. The companions each found a spot on Sejun's lap, his side, his sling bag, or his palm to sit and enjoy the night sky together. Him. With the dazzling night sky, delicious coffee, the slightly cool air brushing his nose, the pleasant scent of his companions and the warmth they shared, Sejun couldn't help but hum a tune. And then, meow meow meow. Het. Kyung. Kaying. Following Sejun's lead, everyone cheerfully started singing. At that moment, Kwek, the representative of the mushroom ants, approached, antennae standing stiff, clearly displeased. Why are you out here instead of sleeping? Sejun asked. Kwek, it's too noisy to sleep. The mushroom ant stated its reason for coming. Sejun and his companions had inadvertently disturbed the mushroom ant's sleep. Sorry about that. We'll keep it quiet now. Go back to sleep. Kwek. After the mushroom ant left, Sejun and his companions quietly watched the stars. After a while, honestly, I think I sang pretty well. Feeling a bit wronged, Sejun muttered. Then, Pew hu hut, that's right, meow. Great hybrid chairman Park and I sang well, meow. Theoraboni, I can't agree with that. Didn't you hear how perfectly I harmonized with Sejun Nim? Kyung. Nope, Kyungi sang with Dad. Kilahit Kaying. Wrong. It was the great Blackie Nim who sang with Butler. Each of the companions chimed in. Everyone claimed they sang well with Sejun, but in the end it was just noise. And then, Kwek. I really wish Sejun Nim wouldn't sing. It turned out the main culprit behind the noise was Sejun himself. As meaningless conversations continued about who sang better with tone-deaf Sejun, the night deepened on the 99th floor of the Black Tower, and I'm happy. Even such trivial conversations made Flamey, who was on the second day of her 10-day vacation, feel genuinely happy. The next morning, what? No way. In-law, reconsider this. Yeah, son-in-law Park, think it over again. Wah, brother-in-law, don't leave me. Don't leave me behind this time. I want to go too this time. The dragons were in emergency mode. I'll just go down the tower for a bit. It was because Sejun had announced that, only 2 days after his return, he would once again leave the 99th floor of the tower. Sejun wanted to show Flamey around other parts of the tower and create some good memories together. Don't worry, I've prepared all your meals in advance, and I'll send food to Aileen every day. Kuahata, really? All right, go ahead. Son-in-law Park, take care of yourself. Yes. At Sejun's words, all the adult dragons agreed, but wah, brother-in-law, take me with you too. Ace was the only one still upset. More than the food, Ace just wanted to spend time with Sejun. Ace, let's travel together when you're older. Here, I promise. Sniff, okay, a promise. I'll eat a lot and grow bigger. In the end, Ace stopped crying only after Sejun made a pinky promise with him. Sejun, come back immediately if there's danger. In-law, have a safe trip. Son-in-law Park, take care. Brother-in-law, I'll grow up quickly. Sejun went down the tower with the dragons sending him off. And then, you have arrived on the 75th floor of the Black Tower. The first place they went was the shopping street with lots to see. 55th floor of the Black Tower. Grandpa, did you really teach farming to Chairman Park? Fatty, I told you to call me principal here. And yes, it's true. How many times do I have to say that I taught Sejun Nim how to farm? Believe me already. No way, you're lying. Even Chicha Nuna said you were making it up. What, even Chichai? Chich was one of the oldest rabbits at the farming school. HMPH. The father rabbit, momentarily deep in thought, finally made up his mind. Fatty, go tell everyone to pack their bags. Bags, where are we going? Yes, we're going on a field trip to the 99th floor of the tower. He decided to prove his words by actually meeting Sejun. Chapter 548, Theo Nim, I was scared. This guy bullied me. Black Tower, 75th floor. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi is going to buy snacks. Kithit Kaying. Hee butler, I'll go buy snacks too. Hyung, take me with you. When they arrived at the shopping district, Kyungi and Blackie family dashed toward the street stalls. Let's take a look around first. Sejun strolled through the shops with Theo and Flamey, if they found something to buy. How much is this? 10 tower coins. Flamey fighting. Pew hut, Flamey can do it, meow. PL, please give me a discount. Cheered on by Sejun and Theo, Flamey practiced haggling 3 times. Although he would protect Flamey, haggling skills were essential since you never knew where you might get taken advantage of. It could even be fun once you got the hang of it. At first, Flamey was a little awkward, but that's it, our Flamey is doing well. Pew hut, Flamey has a knack for this, meow. Really? With encouragement from Sejun and Theo, Flamey quickly adapted. 3 hours later. 30 tower coins. Mister, please give me a discount. Then how about 25 tower coins? There are some scratches here too. Please give me more of a discount. Is that so? Fine, I'll give it to you for 23 coins. Since you're already giving a discount, why not go down just a little further? How about 20 tower coins? All right. Your laugh is so cheerful, I'll give you a special discount, but don't tell anyone else about this, okay? I'll be in trouble if word gets out. Arsadilla. Yes. And Sejun Nim and Theora Boni, you can't tell anyone either. It would trouble the boss. Flamey cleverly mimed zipping their lips shut and even made Sejun and Theo swear secrecy. She had become a skilled professional haggler. Meanwhile, Kyung. Lower the price now. Kaying. Lower it, if you don't, I'm not moving from here. Kyungi and Blackie, on the other hand, had become the notorious troublesome duo of the street stalls. At that moment, Kyungi, Nim, please stop that one. Jiras, who was chasing a criminal, shouted as he spotted Kyungi. Kyung. Hearing Jiras's cry, Kyungi used telekinesis to subdue the figure passing in front of him. Eek. The criminal struggled desperately to escape Kyungi's telekinetic grip, but it was futile. Thank you, here's the bounty. Thanks to Kyungi's help, Jiras easily captured the criminal and handed over the 500 tower coin bounty to Kyungi. Kyung, this is for Kyungi. Yes. Kyuiha. With this, I can buy more than 100 snacks. Kyungi was ecstatic as he stared at the money in his hands. Kihit Kaying. Hee Hyung, I want that too. Blackie was just as excited. Hehe, if we catch criminals, we can eat tons of snacks. Earning money is easier than I thought. As they munched on their snacks, both had the same thought. Kyung. Detective Cunnan is on the case. Kihit Kaying. Detective Capping will help too. TL Ka Kohainus comes from Kohemingienus, which means Blackie, and Kopung Inus. Pang is likely derived from Pang or Pang Adventures, whichever you prefer to call it. The two began hunting for more criminals. Why me? Jiras ended up joining them, as they needed someone to provide information about the criminals. Sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff. Like that, the two diligently searched for suspicious smells and entered what looked like an expensive lodging. And then, clack, as if it were their own room, they confidently opened the door to the finest room in the inn and sat at the dining table. Moments later, oh, I was just about to call you. How did you know to come? Sejun, carrying dishes from the kitchen, greeted Kyungi, Blackie, and, oh, Jiras, you're here too. Sejun smiled as he noticed Jiras, who had been dragged along by the two, sitting at the table. 119:15. Sejun had rented the inn to prepare meals for Aileen, while also making dishes for his group. The menu was soy-braised slime, fried eggs, and white rice. Hello, Sejun Nim. What am I even doing here? Jiras quickly greeted Sejun, all the while questioning his situation. But then, the moment a piece of savory soy-braised meat was placed atop white rice and entered Jiras's mouth, all his doubts vanished. This is destiny. Today, he had woken up 10 minutes earlier than usual to have an early breakfast, skipped lunch while apprehending two criminals, and chased down another criminal on his way back, all to arrive here, at this precise moment, to eat this food. Delicious. As Jiras wolfed down his meal hurriedly. Kyung. So Kyungi caught the criminal and got the bounty. Kihit Kaying. Butler, Hyung used the bounty to buy me food. Kyungi and Blackie proudly boasted to Sejun about their recent exploits while eating. Good job. While listening to their story, Sejun. Flamey should try catching a criminal too. He decided to do a criminal catching experience with Flamey. Detective Sherlock Sejun and his assistant Tiasin. Detective Cunnan and Detective Capping. As Sejun was assigning roles. What should Flamey be? After some contemplation, Sejun decided. Bulgiano. Detective Bulgiano. TL Bul Kopuinus comes from Kopuhachienus, which means Flamey, and Giano Kotsaniinus is derived from Kim Gianil, the detective in the Kindachi case files. Sejun had considered using this name for Kyungi back in chapter 244 but rejected it at the time, saying, if he appears, there's always a murder case, why he thought it was a good choice this time. That should work, right? The name felt like it could invite trouble, but considering the team members, he figured it would probably work out. Once the roles were assigned. Jiras, give us a case. A case? Yeah, something with a high bounty. We'll solve it for you. Sejun asked Jiras for a high bounty case. And then please take this one. It's a case with a 10 billion tower coin bounty to catch an organization called the Herring Gang that's been selling suspicious drugs in the tower lately. Jiras, who had been overworked recently, eagerly passed his most troublesome case to Sejun. A suspicious drug, got it, case accepted. Haha. Detective Sherlock Sejun and friends will handle it. Pew hut. That's right, meow. Once Detective Sherlock Sejun and assistant Tiasin take the field, everything gets solved, meow. He, Detective Bulgiano, under Detective Sherlock Sejun's command, will do her best. Kyung, Detective Sherlock Sejun's son, Detective Cunnan, will help too. Kit Kang. The great Detective Capping will assist the butler too. Thus, the strongest team of detectives set out to capture Herring Gang. It was like using carpet bombing with nuclear missiles on a problem that could be solved with a single grenade. For Herring Gang, this was the beginning of a disaster. And the first thing they did was, "Assistant Tiasin, do you feel anything?" "Mewo, not yet, meow." They decided to eat snacks while waiting for Theo's front paws to sense something, a purely instinct and luck-based investigative method. After about an hour had passed like that. "Mew, Detective Sherlock Sejun, I feel the pull, meow." Theo called out and, "Where?" Sejun quickly picked up Theo and rushed outside. In a dark alley of the shopping street. "Hey Nar, give me 10 herring candies." A red orc, who didn't look too well, frantically pulled out some money as he spoke to a figure in a black hood. "Sorry, with that money you can only buy one. Starting today, herring candies went up to 10 tower coins each." Nar took the 10 tower coins from the red orc's hand and replied in a sly tone. "What? Yesterday it was only 1 tower coin per candy." "Nothing I can do about it. If the boss says to raise the price, I have to. By the way, starting tomorrow, the price will go up to 20 tower coins each, so if you've got the money, stock up today." Kekek. At Nar's words, the red orc spent all his money to buy 3 herring candies. And just like that, every few minutes, Nar sold more candy. "Detective Sherlock Sejun, that's the guy, meow." Theo pointed at Nar in the distance. "All right, let's get him." Puhut understood, meow. "Thwack." "He." At Sejun's words, Theo immediately struck the back of Nar's head, knocking him unconscious. Normally, investigators would tail a suspect to locate their base of operations, but for Sejun's detective squad, that wasn't necessary. Detective Capping, go. Kit Kang. Great Detective Capping will sniff everything out. Thunk. Kirorong. Blackie headbutted Nar and promptly fell asleep. Moments later, I'll tell you everything, just please spare my soul." Nar, who had regained his senses, was ready to spill everything. "Hideout. It's in Jur village on the 72nd floor of the tower. It's the biggest mansion in the village. You'll recognize it right away." "Name of the Herring Gang's boss?" "That I don't really." "GRRR." When Nar couldn't answer, Blackie immediately growled. "How cute." To Sejun, it was nothing but adorable, but... It's true, this isn't information someone as low-ranking as me would know, but I do know the names of the people I've dealt with. Oh, now that I think about it, I did hear the name of a mid-level boss once. I'm sure it was Cosette. Nar panicked at Blackie's growl and desperately spilled everything he knew. After getting information from Nar like that, Sejun handed Nar over to Jiras and moved to the 72nd floor. Black Tower, 72nd floor. "P.O. This is all because of you, Urin Nim." "Sorry." Piat was furious at Urin. A few days ago, the two of them had been on their way to find the last divine relic of misfortune, the god of misfortune, when they encountered highway robbers for the first time in a while. For Piat and Urin, dealing with them wasn't a big deal. They easily subdued the thieves and prepared to stamp. "But, P.O., what is this stuff?" "I don't know, Yuha, but it feels good." After inhaling the black powder the bandits had scattered, they began experiencing side effects. "Piyahiti." "Yuha." Their bodies weakened, their mood lightened, and uncontrollable laughter began to bubble out of them. And then, "All right, they're completely drugged. Grab whatever's valuable." The bandits started taking money from the dazed pair. If they had only been robbed of money, it wouldn't have been much of a problem, but... "Yuha, look at this. I can even make gold like this." Urin, in his drugged state, showed the bandits his ability to create gold, and things quickly spiraled out of control. When the two regained their senses, they were restrained with equipment that sealed magic power and locked in prison. And Pio, why would you make gold for them? Even as Piat scolded him, Urin had no excuse to offer. At that moment, clank, so you're awake. A towering yellow minotaur entered the prison carrying a basket filled with stones. Then, make gold, legendary merchant Urin. He shoved the basket toward Urin, demanding he turn the stones into gold. It wasn't difficult to identify Urin's identity, since he was the only pink pig capable of creating gold in the Black Tower. All right, I'll do it, but let Piat go. Hopping to at least save Piat, Urin tried to negotiate. Cuck, legendary merchant Urin, do you think you're in a position to negotiate with me? You have no such right. You'll do what I say. Here, my word, the word of Bulka, boss of the Herring Gang, is law. Bulka refused to entertain Urin's terms. Instead, if you don't make the gold, I'll pluck this bird's feathers one by one and make it my dinner. Ha ha ha, now, quickly make gold, legendary merchant Urin. Alrig. When Urin was about to give in to Bulka's words. Pio, you're going to eat me for dinner, go ahead and try. Pio. I am Piat, right front paw of the deadly dragon-clawed hybrid golden cat Theo Parknim, subordinate of the great black dragon. I don't beg for my life, and soon Theonim will come to rescue me. Furious, Piat chirped fiercely. Cuck, such a tiny thing with big guts, but no matter how great Theo Park might be, it's impossible for him to find this underground prison. I've changed my mind. First, I'll pluck all your feathers. As Bulka smirked and reached out toward Piat, a sudden voice rang out. Pew hut, over here, meow. I can feel it from this direction, meow. Kyung. Boom. With Theo's voice coming from beyond the wall, Kyungi smashed through it. It's Piat and Urin. Sejun and his group appeared through the hole in the wall. Go Golden Cat Theo Park. And even the tyrant Kyungi Park. How did they find this place? Bulka froze in panic upon seeing Theo and Kyungi. At that moment, Peeing. Theonim, I was scared. This guy bullied me. Piat burst into tears upon seeing Theo, who had come to rescue him. Meow, you made my right front paw cry, meow. Thwack. Urg. Theo immediately avenged Piat by hitting Bulka on the back of the head. By the way, do you know who the boss of the Herring Gang is, meow? He asked Piat and Urin about the Herring Gang's boss. Point. The two simultaneously pointed at the unconscious Bulka. Kit Kaying. He, detective capping on it. Thunk. Blackie head-butted Bulka, and just like that, all of Herring Gang's secrets were revealed. Jiraz's case log. The Herring Gang, an organization distributing suspicious drugs in the tower. With the help of the Sejun detective squad, Herring Gang's leader Bulka and all 20,000 members were arrested, achieving a 100% success rate in the roundup. Total bounty, 15.3 billion tower coins paid in full. And thus, the major case that had been troubling Jiraz was completely resolved. Flamey, how was it? Did you enjoy playing detective? Yes. At Sejun's question, Flamey grinned widely, clearly having had a great time. Becoming a detective and tracking down criminals, it was thrilling and exciting. Flamey learned what it meant to almost die from excitement this time. All right, let's ride this momentum and do a treasure hunt next. We're going treasure hunting this time. Yep. Sejun was now heading to the 62nd floor of the tower to help Urin find the last divine relic of misfortune, the god of misfortune. You have arrived at the 62nd floor of the Black Tower. When Sejun arrived on the 62nd floor, Pick. Sejun Nim. Father Rabbit. Sejun spotted Father Rabbit, who was feeding the baby rabbits. And then, see that, me being familiar with Sejun Nim. Father Rabbit puffed up his chest proudly as he glanced at the baby rabbits. At last, The moment had come for Father Rabbit to prove his dignity and authority. Chapter 549. This I Can't Let Slide. Black Tower, 62nd floor. Pick. Sejun Nim, have you been well? Yes, have you been well too, Father Rabbit? Pick. Yes. As Sejun and Father Rabbit exchanged greetings. Swoosh back. We greet Sejun Nim. The black rabbits, who had been hiding around the area, appeared and bowed respectfully. They were the guard squad responsible for guarding Father Rabbit and the baby rabbits. All right, good work. Back. We will return to our posts then. Sure. While Sejun was talking with the guard squad. Pew hut, Father Rabbit, it's been a while, meow. Hee, it's been a while. Kyung. It's been a while. Kaying. Long time no see. Theo, Flamey, Kyungi and Blackie all greeted Father Rabbit. Pio. Hello. It's been a while. Next, Piot and Urin also exchanged greetings with Father Rabbit. At that moment, Pig, Black Torch and other baby rabbits started yelling and fighting among themselves. The reason for their fight, it was because of Sejun. That person really is Uncle Sejun, I'm telling you. No, he's not. Chairman Park doesn't look like that. Yeah, Chairman Park has 2 horns and 8 arms. He's also 10 meters tall, and most importantly, Chairman Park is supposed to be handsome, but that person is ugly. Black Torch is a liar. The baby rabbits were rejecting the real-life Sejun, who looked different from the rumors they had heard, and argued with Black Torch. And then, I remembered you. You said I was ugly, didn't you? Hearing their conversation, Sejun was furious. Pig. I'm not a liar, he really is Uncle Park Sejun. When the baby rabbits accused Black Torch of being a liar, the black rabbit grew frustrated, sniffling as if about to cry when a bubbling sound was heard, accompanied by a sweet aroma. Pig. Peep-ap. Black Torch and the baby rabbits naturally turned their heads. Those who want carrot candies, come over here and line up. There stood Sejun, coating carrots with sugar syrup he had been boiling. Peep. Uncle me. Black Torch, as if forgetting he had been crying just a moment ago, dashed towards Sejun at full speed. It was a speed befitting the legendary Black Rabbit. But, how did this little guy get so fast? He's even faster than me now. While Sejun was starting to feel a twinge of jealousy at Black Torch's speed. Peep-ap. The other baby rabbits belatedly ran towards Sejun as well. This isn't the time for that. There was something more urgent now than feeling envious. Winning over the baby rabbits with carrot candies. Black Torch, what's Uncle's name? Sejun asked Black Torch his name. Park Sejun. Good, here you go. Sejun handed over a shiny, sugar-coated carrot to Black Torch, who had answered correctly. Peep. Black Torch received the carrot and happily moved to the side, and the next baby rabbit held out both front paws, ready to receive a carrot. What's my name? Peep-ap. Park Sejun. The next baby rabbit, Fatty, answered without hesitation, as expected of the youngest of the gluttonous family of cart rabbits. Good, here you go. Peep-ap. Thank you. After Fatty received his carrot candy from Sejun. What's my name? Sejun asked the third baby rabbit the same question. Peep. Chairman Park Sejun has 2 horns on his head and 8 arms. The baby rabbit hesitated, unable to lie in response to Sejun's question. At that moment, crunch, the sweet and delicious sound of sugar coating breaking as Black Torch and Fatty bit into their carrots was heard from the side, and Peep. Park Sejun. The baby rabbit clenched its fists and shouted. For baby rabbits, delicious things were truth and reality. Good, here you go. All the baby rabbits in line answered Park Sejun, and received carrot candy from Sejun, and Kuahet Kyung. Hehe, Dad's name is Park Sejun. Kilahit Kaying. He, Butler's name is Park Sejun. At the end of the line, Kyungi and Blackie held up fruits they wanted made into candy while shouting Sejun's name. All right. Sejun coated the fruits brought by Kyungi and Blackie with sugar, turning them into candies. Having thus revealed the truth through sweetness, Sejun. What am I even doing? The realization that he was using food to prove his identity hit him, leaving him momentarily disillusioned. But the results were undeniable. Crunch, crunch. Sweet sounds of sugar breaking filled the air from all directions, and now what's my name? Park Sejun. Do you believe my words? Yes. And Park Sejun is handsome. Holding carrot candies, Sejun quickly won the hearts of the baby rabbits. However, did you think we'd fall for food? HMPH, we don't fall for such tricks. Truth will always prevail. Chichai, Dudu, and Chubby, the eldest among the baby rabbits, stood their ground, refusing to succumb to Sejun's plan out of pride. Ha ha ha, let's see if they can resist this too. Alright, today I'm feeling generous. To any rabbit who shouts, handsome Park Sejun, cool Park Sejun, super ultra strong Park Sejun, I'll give a special dragon tattoo. Sejun declared, showing the dragon tattoo engraved on his right hand. Peek. Me. Once again, Black Torch was the first to step forward. Black Torch, who had always admired the dragon tattoo that the black rabbits had, didn't hesitate to volunteer. Peek. Handsome Park Sejun, cool Park Sejun, super ultra strong Park Sejun. Good, where do you want it? Stretch. In response to Sejun's question, Black Torch lifted his left front paw. Left side, what color would you like? Sejun asked while taking out the 9 dragon scales. Having received scales from the dragon clans, he could now create dragon tattoos in all 9 colors. Peek. Golden, please. Got it. Wung. Sejun pulled out the golden dragon scale and engraved a golden dragon tattoo on Black Torch's left front paw. Handsome Park Sejun, cool Park Sejun, super ultra strong Park Sejun. Following Black Torch's example, the other baby rabbits approached Sejun, shouted the slogan, and received their dragon tattoos. The baby rabbits probably didn't realize what an amazing opportunity it was to receive the great dragon tattoo for just a few words of praise. Look at this, I have the red dragon on my left front paw. Hehe, fool. Black dragon on the left front paw is the way to go. No way, the purple dragon is the coolest. Perhaps influenced by Black Torch starting with the left paw, all the baby rabbits got their dragon tattoos on their left front paws and began showing them off to one another. While the baby rabbits were busy boasting about the dragon tattoos on their left front paws. Stretching. Peek. 119-17. HHH, handsome Park Sejun, cool Park Sejun, super ultra strong Park Sejun. Chich, who had been watching from a distance, came forward with a bright red face and shouted the slogan in front of Sejun. Chicha had resisted the temptation of food, but couldn't give up the allure of a black dragon tattoo on her left paw. Thus, even Chicha, who had called Sejun ugly, ended up saying he was handsome. Good, what color would you like? Sejun asked with a beaming smile. Peek. Black color. All right. Wung. Using a black dragon scale, Sejun engraved a black dragon tattoo on Chichai's left front paw. Dada. Handsome Park Sejun, cool Park Sejun, super ultra strong Park Sejun. Unable to hold out any longer, Dudu and Chubby also ran up to Sejun and shouted the slogan. Dudu got a blue dragon tattoo in. And what color would Chubby like? Peek. I don't need a dragon tattoo, just give me a lot of carrot candies. Chubby opted for carrot candies instead of a dragon tattoo, as expected of the eldest son of the cart rabbit family. The cart rabbit had 3 sons, the eldest Chubby, the second chunky and the youngest fatty. Heh, all right, I'll give you carrot candies, but you still need to choose a dragon tattoo. Thus, Sejun won over the hearts of all the baby rabbits. At that moment, Pig, Sejun Nim, is it true that Grandpa taught you how to farm? One baby rabbit approached Sejun and asked. Rustle, rustle. All the baby rabbits quickly gathered around Sejun, sitting close together with their ears perked up, fully focused on his words. Farming, that's right. Your grandpa is my farming master. It was precisely 498 days ago. Back then, I was trapped in a cave, barely surviving on nutritionless green onions, drowning in despair. Sejun exaggerated the story, making the situation sound worse, to enhance Father Rabbit's reputation. Pig. Green onions. But Grandpa was the one who brought those green onions to you, Sejun Nim. Huh? What is this about? When Sejun looked at Father Rabbit. Please just say that's true. He saw Father Rabbit sweating profusely and desperately pleading with his eyes. While bragging to the baby rabbits, Papa Rabbit had added a few lies to make himself look better. So you can plead with your eyes too, huh? Realizing something new, Sejun decided. I forgot. Back then, I was starving for a long time when Father Rabbit appeared with green onions. Thanks to that, my situation improved greatly. To cover for Father Rabbit, Sejun lied for him. Grandpa's words were true. Our grandpa's green onions saved Chairman Park. Grandpa really taught Chairman Park how to farm. Thanks to this, the baby rabbits began admiring Father Rabbit. The story then transitioned to the part where Sejun and the rabbit couple met, had baby rabbits, and met Sweetie. So, Father Rabbit and I worked hard to convince them. Pig. Wait, isn't this the part where Grandpa fought the poisonous queen bee one-on-one for everyone? Zing! You abandoned me and ran away back then. Sejun glared at Father Rabbit. Please. Father Rabbit desperately begged again with his eyes. Father Rabbit fought bravely and saved us. Sejun decided to forgive him one more time. Although Father Rabbit's lies kept surfacing, creating crises, Sejun endured them well. However, then is it true that when Sejun Nim knelt before the mighty black dragon and begged for his life, Grandpa appeared and saved you? Another lie from Father Rabbit, peeled away layer by layer. How much did you lie about this? Zing! Sejun stared intently at Father Rabbit, scolding him with his gaze. Please. Father Rabbit pleaded with his eyes once more. Actually I didn't kneel completely. My knees were about 1 cm above the ground. Sejun compromised by admitting part of Father Rabbit's lie, while protecting the last shred of his pride. At that moment, Peep-ap. Then is it true that Grandpa made Sejun Nim's face handsome? Fatty raised their front paw and asked. What? Made me handsome? This I can't let slide. As Sejun was about to blow up and expose everything. I can't stay silent, meow. Fixing Chairman Park's ugly face to make it less ugly was me, Vice Chairman Theo, meow. Theo, snapping first, shouted indignantly. And so, Father Rabbit's lies were finally exposed. Grandpa lied. This threw the baby rabbits into confusion. Wait, Grandpa is a liar. Some baby rabbits even began to sniffle, on the verge of crying. All right, everyone, pay attention. I'll show you something amazing now. Sejun quickly diverted the baby rabbits' attention to stop them from crying. If he didn't calm them down quickly, their crying could spread like wildfire among the group. Then, Peep-pig, as the baby rabbits paused their tears momentarily. Look at this. Sejun quickly tossed some stamina corn into a pot and started making popcorn. Pop. The sound of popping corn, coupled with its savory aroma, filled the air. The sight of the kernels bursting was, wow, amazing. It smells so yummy. More than enough to captivate the baby rabbits. Crop gigantification. Sejun seized the moment to use his skill to enlarge some carrots. Vice Chairman Theo, please make large carrot cups. Pew Hut got it, meow. He had Theo make carrot cups to hold the popcorn. A little while later. All right, listen carefully while you eat, okay? Grandpa and I seem to have remembered things a little weirdly. Let me quickly tell you the truth again. Sejun began correcting Father Rabbit's lies and restarted the story. Yes. The baby rabbits, holding carrot cups brimming with popcorn in their arms, listened to Sejun's words. Crunch, crunch. Most of them, however, were too focused on eating popcorn to pay attention. As Sejun continued his story. Peep, peep, peep. Grandpa, it's okay. They say old people naturally start forgetting things. Black Torch tried to console Father Rabbit, but Father Rabbit didn't seem happy at all. And I'm not old. Neither was Sejun, who was also treated as an old person. Outskirts of destruction. SSSSSSRSSS. Hydra and Leviathan began shedding their skin. Chapter 550, I'm not an uncle. All right, let's get going now. As the incident caused by Father Rabbit's lie came to an end, Sejun tidied up his surroundings and spoke. And then, all right, now let's head out to find the treasure. They all headed off together to search for the final divine relic of misfortune, the god of misfortune. Peepik. Beebik. Peepayak, the baby rabbits echoed Sejun's shout enthusiastically. Sejun had heard that Father Rabbit and the baby rabbits had climbed the tower just to meet him. Since it would feel like a shame to let them leave just like that, he thought he should do something for them. Thus, he decided to let them join the treasure hunt. Originally, it would have been dangerous, but given who the members were, the difficulty dropped dramatically to the level of a picnic. On top of that, meow, baby rabbits form a line, meow. Beebik. Uncle, can I touch your tail? Then Black Torch, grab my tail and follow me, meow. Peepayak. Uncle, I'm hungry. Fatty, eat this churro, meow, and look ahead while eating, meow. Theo, who returned to his uncle role after a long time, skillfully managed the baby rabbits. The baby rabbits were too scared to approach Uncle Theo at first, but now they talked to him and even whined. And then, Kyung. Follow Uncle Kyung. Kilahit Kaying. He, follow the great Uncle Blackie. Kyungi and Blackie also tried to act like uncles, but for some reason, they didn't gain much popularity. Yuaha this way. They followed Urin's lead as they made their way to find Misfortune's divine relic. Sejun, with a serious expression, stared intently at the back of Father Rabbit's head as he walked ahead of him. The reason was, since he was the Father Rabbit, would it be Tapa? TL. Tapa is a combination of the first and last characters from Koltaki Enus, Kolupa Enus, Father Rabbit or Dad Rabbit, forming Koltapa Enus, Tapa. Or since he is Black Rabbit's dad, would it be Blacka? TL. It is combination of Black Kohu Enus and Hangul Ko Enus from Kolupa Enus, Father Dad, making it Blacka Kohu Enus. Sejun was trying to come up with a name for Father Rabbit. He had grown so accustomed to calling him Father Rabbit that he hadn't realized Father Rabbit didn't actually have a name. Kaying. Butler, why don't you give him a name? Blackie's question made Sejun realize that Father Rabbit didn't have a name. Thus, Pandora's box was opened by Blackie's inquiry. I should make it a name commemorating our first meeting. Sejun recalled his first meeting with Father Rabbit. Father Rabbit, you appeared on the surface drooling, stepped on my shoulder, and asked for green onions me. At that time, you looked like a moon rabbit living on the moon, peeking through a round hole. And then you brought Mother Rabbit and rubbed salt in my wounds. All right, I've decided, Walgang. Since you came down from the moon, Walgang. TL, here Wal Kawainus means moon and Gang Kogunganus means descent or descend, forming Kawakang Anus, which means descended from the moon. After pondering for a while, Sejun spoke the name he had decided on. Mother Rabbit can be Walha then. TL here wal kawatinus means moon and ha kohainus means under or below, forming kawahainus, making it under the moon. Naturally, he gave Mother Rabbit a name too. Once the names were given, the effect of talent, namer has been activated. The name Walgang has been imbued with a special effect. All stats have increased by 12. Talent, Moon's essence has been awakened. The name Walha has been imbued with a special effect. All stats have increased by 12. Talent, Moon's warmth has been awakened. The names Walgang and Walha were imbued with special effects. Pipika. Sejun Nim gave me a name. Thanks to this, Walgang was deeply moved. Kaying. Butler, this isn't fair. Exactly, something is wrong here. K. Kurug. 1d6d8. Shallering. This isn't right. K. Kak. PPK. Blackie family expressed their dissatisfaction with Sejun's nomming skills. Mumu. Pipu. Especially, Mubelchil and Mukbupil were the most vocal in their complaints. We've arrived. While Sejun was busy nomming, Urin pointed at an ominous building, announcing they had arrived at the location of Misfortune's divine relic. And then, all right, let's start the treasure hunt. Everyone follow carefully. Hede, yes. Bibik. Pipayak. Pipiet. Sejun, with the reliable bodyguard Theo attached to his knee, took the lead, and behind him Piat, Urin, and then Walgang and the baby rabbits followed in a line. Kuang. At the very back of the group, Kuangi stood ready to handle any emergencies. Sejun and his companions entered the building with a bit of tension and anticipation at the thought of treasure hunting, but why wasn't it hidden? The divine relic, about the size of a fist, was sitting right in the middle of the central altar in plain view. Star that blesses misfortune. A radiant yet ominous golden star. We already found it. Bibik. Pipayak. Pipiet. Flamey and the baby rabbits were greatly disappointed that the treasure had already been found so easily. Chairman Park, let's examine the relic for now, meow. All right. Following Theo's suggestion, Sejun picked up the relic and examined it. Star that blesses misfortune. A divine relic created by misfortune, the god of misfortune, by embedding her authority into a star that fell to the ground. It bestows a blessing that increases the wearer's abilities using their misfortune. The effect lasts as long as it is worn. Usage restriction. Must be acknowledged as unfortunate by misfortune, the god of misfortune. Creator, misfortune, the god of misfortune. GR. It's interesting how it blesses you according to how unfortunate you are. As Sejun marveled at the relic's options. Misfortune, the god of misfortune, says she will let you experience her relic. Misfortune offered her goodwill. She had heard from Urin, who carried her relic, that for him to thrive, he needed to stay on Sejun's good side. Thus, when misfortune allowed him to test the relic. Star that blesses misfortune measure your usable misfortune. Using the misfortune measured, it grants a blessing that increases all stats by 150. The relic boosted Sejun's stats proportional to the amount of his misfortune. Oh, this is interesting. Vice Chairman Theo, you try it. Pushuhut, all right, meow. When Theo grabbed the relic. No misfortune detected. Instead of misfortune, luck is used to grant a blessing that increases all stats by minus 20,000. For Theo, the relic reduced his stats instead of boosting them. It was more of a curse than a blessing. The divine relic's other name must surely be the star that curses fortune. Meow, this feels awful, meow. Theo quickly withdrew his paws from the relic. Having experienced the relic, Sejun handed it over. Here, take it. Thank you. He handed the divine relic to Urin. At that moment, bang! A powerful shockwave erupted from Urin as soon as he touched the relic. Star that blesses misfortune measure your usable misfortune. The misfortune measured is so vast that it cannot all be used. The star that blesses misfortune grants a blessing that maximizes all stats. The relic blessed Urin by using his misfortune. The impact of the blessing was immense. Everyone come here. Sejun quickly hugged Flamey and Blackie to shield them from the shockwave. Quackwing! An enormous shockwave rushed towards Sejun, but Talent, master of deflection, reduces the force of the first attack by 99%. The talent's effect nullified most of the impact. Fortunately, the baby rabbits, who had gone outside out of disappointment with the treasure hunt, and Kyungi, who had escorted them, were unharmed by the shockwave. I'm so sorry. As Urin hurriedly bowed his head in apology. Quackwing! Another shockwave erupted. As Urin's stats surged, even the smallest movements unleashed tremendous energy. Meow! Kyung! This time Theo, who had latched onto Sejun's knee, and Kyungi, who had flown over quickly, blocked the shockwave. Pio! Sai! Thump! Kyuika! In the meantime, Piat let out a deep sigh and struck Urin on the back of the head, knocking him out. And then, Pio! Sejun Nim, I'll head to the 99th floor of the tower with Urin once he wakes up. It seems he needs some special training from the Minotaur King. Piat informed Sejun that he would take Urin to the 99th floor of the tower for training with the Minotaur King. Since Urin, unable to control his power, was no different from a ticking bomb, it was best for everyone that he undergo special training with the Minotaur King until he could master his strength. All right. Leaving the two behind, Sejun stepped out of the building. And then, we're heading down to the first floor of the tower now. Do you want to come with us? He asked Walgang if he wanted to come along to the tower's first floor. This was to give Kyung-chul the relentless hunter's bow, the divine relic of Hunt, the god of hunting. Ppi-ik. Ye know. Walgang shook his head vigorously after initially nodding instinctively in response to Sejun's question. His neck hurt from the abrupt motion, but it couldn't be helped. On the way here, he had suddenly realized. There were still a few lies he hadn't been caught in yet. Before he got exposed, he decided it was better to escape. A short while later. Kids, take care. Peepik. Beebik. Peepayak. Sejun waved back at the rabbits, who were enthusiastically waving their front paws at him as he descended to the first floor of the tower. Combat Shop Headquarters. Battler Nim. Hunt, who had returned, went to find Battler. How did it go? Battler, who had been waiting only for Hunt's return, asked eagerly. Theo is calling for you to hurry over. What? He stamped me too. He said you've got 3 days and to get there as fast as possible. Battler's mind went blank at Hunt's words. Theo said if you're late, he'll impeach you, so you'd better go quickly. Having delivered his message, Hunt returned home. He had promised he would craft bows to offer to Theo from now on. This can't be. This is all because of Park Sejun. If only Park Sejun hadn't used my divine relic. As Battler, who was left alone, blamed Sejun. I did it. Misfortune, the god of misfortune, passed by him, laughing brightly. Now that Urin had found all 3 of her divine relics, Misfortune had regained tremendous divine power. No longer was she dressed in rags. Moreover, Curselina, the god of curses, and Pober, the god of poverty who had lived alongside her on the streets, were now dressed elegantly in new clothes that Misfortune had bought for them. It was all thanks to Park Sejun. If Sejun hadn't given her relic to Urin and hadn't helped him find the other relics, she wouldn't have been able to recover her divine power. Unlike Battler, who resented Sejun, Misfortune was deeply grateful to him. Everyone, this is all thanks to Park Sejun, so if any of you ever get a chance to talk to him, make sure to treat him with the utmost kindness. Got it? Yes, Unnai. Yes, Nuna. She warned her companions about how they should act toward Sejun. Even within the combat shop headquarters, The number of battle gods who held Sejun in high regard was steadily increasing. You have arrived at the first floor of the Black Tower. Upon reaching the first floor of the tower, Sejun asked, "Do you know where Kyung-chul is?" He went to Kyung-gang and asked the Black Bears about Kyung-chul's location. "Please wait a moment, we'll find out immediately." The Black Bears scattered to search for Kyung-chul. Meanwhile, "Mom, Dad, I'm doing well." Sejun took a video of himself and his companions using his hunter phone and sent it to the Earth Defense Force Guild headquarters to deliver it to his family. Although the threats to Earth had disappeared, the Earth Defense Force had not disbanded and was continuing as a guild to maintain its legacy. After sending the video, Sejun returned to his original spot and quietly observed his surroundings. At that moment, KQE. Sejun noticed hamsters from Hamk scurrying around the first floor of the tower. Although the threat of destruction had passed, the Black Tower and Hamk were still connected, and adventurous hamsters had begun exploring the tower. Just then, "Sejun Nim, we found him. He's currently on the second floor." One of the Black Bears reported Kyung-chul's location to Sejun. "The second floor? Why is he there?" Sejun used a waypoint to move up to the second floor of the tower. KQE. "These hamsters have lapped me twice. Plant faster." The second floor was bustling with hamsters and people planting green onions on the farm. As Sybil the 18th, who had been instructed to plant green onions here, had hired hamsters and people to complete the farm as quickly as possible by paying them. Farm restoration progress 80%. Thanks to this effort, the farm restoration progress had significantly increased. There he is. Sejun spotted Kyung-chul amidst the crowd, planting green onions. "Kyung-chul." When Sejun called out to him, "Oh." Kyung-chul also spotted Sejun and ran over. "Ah, that's right, Flamey, this is Kyung-chul. He's the one who gave me the apple you were born from." Sejun introduced Kyung-chul to Flamey. Hello, Uncle Kyung-chul. Thank you for sending me to Sejun Nim." Flamey bowed at a 90-degree angle, sincerely thanking Kyung-chul. If it weren't for Kyung-chul, she wouldn't have met Sejun. Way. Kyung-chul was flustered by Flamey's polite greeting. "I'm not an uncle, I'm only 27. Kyung-chul, who hadn't even dated once yet felt too wronged at being called uncle.